Upstate.
I don't know what's more embarrassing, Cole. Team USA losing to Venezuela in the World Baseball Classic Finals. The fact that they managed just 3 hits in the process with a loaded roster, or the fact that Mason Miller, Logan Webb, Bobby Witt Jr., and Kyle Schwarber couldn't even contain themselves long enough to get into the dugout before they go pouting and crying and taking off their medals. I don't even want this thing. Welcome into Wire to Wire. He's Cole Bryson. My name is Diesel. Venezuela wins the World Baseball Classic 3-2. Cole, the atmosphere was absolutely phenomenal. Got to give Miami a tremendous amount of credit. The Venezuela fans, the American fans that were there, everybody that was there made it a spectacle to watch on television. Did not go the way that we wanted it to go, Cole, and it is indefensible, really, to have a roster as good as Team USA had to put together only 2 runs and 3 hits in the World Baseball Classic Finals.
You know, it's one of the, I guess, life's great mysteries that I'll never understand about baseball, and I think that it's one of the reasons, Diesel, that baseball is one of the most difficult games on planet Earth. Because you look at that roster and you look at that lineup and you think they're going to score 10 runs a night. However, baseball just doesn't work that way, right? It is embarrassing, the productivity offensively. And yes, Bryce Harper hit the 2-run shot there to tie it up, and that was great in the moment, but it didn't last long. When you have that much talent that Team USA had and not to be able to get any offense, Aaron Judge, I said it yesterday, just way too inconsistent throughout this tournament. And some of the big bats in that lineup, way too inconsistent. And then to your first point, I don't blame the guys. I don't want any part of a second-place trophy. I wouldn't have allowed it to be put on my neck. I don't want to be near it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to be on the field after. I don't even want to be near a second-place trophy.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Really. Second place.
I mean, is that where we are as a country now?
Yeah, second place.
We can't even show enough respect. If that's the way we're going to treat this event, and I imagine, we would treat it like this if it happened in the Olympics. You saw Team Canada throw in those, let's be real, stupid little stuffed animals on the ice. But if we don't have enough respect for the event to get off the field before frustrations boil over, we should just stop doing it.
No, that's sports,
No. We should stop. We should stop going. If we need guarantees that we're going to win, and that's the only reason we're going to be, we're going to have sportsmanship through the end of this event. Then what are we even doing this for? Just cancel the whole damn thing. Come on, man. That is a loser's mentality to say, well, if I don't get everything that I want, I don't even want anything at all.
Nobody, but Diesel, if you've played any level of sports, you don't want a second place trophy.
You don't want it.
You don't want it.
You don't want it, but you have enough respect and class to carry yourself off the field.
I don't want
it off once you get into the locker room.
No.
Hit the cooler with a baseball bat, curse, scream, cry. I don't care. Just get off the damn field.
I don't
before
want
you start acting that way.
Look, it just goes to show these guys put so much work and effort into what they do. They put so much into it. And I love it. I absolutely love it. I love the fact that we're not settling. If we would have been smiling and taking selfies and jersey swaps, then I would be irate. I would be irate then because that would show we don't care about winning. It's all about winning. I don't care what you do. Sportsmanship, who gives a crap? Being respectful, who gives a crap? We don't play sports to be respectful. Wow. We play sport to win. That's what we do. USA Hockey did it, men's and women's, by the way. And we couldn't do it for the baseball. We dropped the ball.
Well, we dropped the ball. You and I have a fundamental disagreement on how you compose yourself and how you handle yourself when things don't go the way you want them to go on,
I don't think so.
Field of play.
I don't think we have a disagreement there. I think you're making it into something it's not. I agree with you that you should handle yourself well. But I'm just saying from the standpoint of playing sport, when you put so much into what you do, you don't want any part of second place. You just don't want any part of it.
I agree you don't want second place.
Yeah.
But come on, it's a trophy for your achievement. It's not the tippy top trophy. Like I said, I'm saying get off the field. Get off the field, get into the locker room, go as nuts as you want to go, upset, mad, angry at yourself. You had exactly 3 hits. 2 runs in a championship game. And I get baseball is like that, right? This is the highest level of baseball. This isn't college baseball where they're using juiced aluminum bats and the pitchers are all pretty good, but they're not all major league world-class caliber pitchers.
Yeah.
You got all-stars on both sides of the field. I mean, I'd have to go up and down each of these rosters, Cole, but I would imagine that just about every single player on both of these teams is a Major League Baseball player. And there's all-stars all over the field. I get it. And these guys, they got to go back to the locker rooms and some of them, there was a couple Red Sox guys they were talking about last night. They got to be sitting in a locker room with somebody that just kicked their ass in the WBC. Carry yourself a little bit of class, but be mad at yourselves, Team USA, with this roster the way that it is. Cal Raleigh went 0 for the WBC. He got benched. Alex Bregman wasn't there. Bryce Harper didn't do anything until the 8th inning of that game. He hit that dinger. That was great. Good for him. And Aaron Judge, essentially non-existent. Essentially non-existent for the majority of this tournament. Be mad at yourselves for doing nothing through the first 8 innings of the game.
I guess where I am is when you're at that highest level, a lot of people wear their emotions on their sleeve, and a lot of people don't. A lot of people in that situation probably didn't get mad last night, but a lot of people probably wear their emotions on their sleeve. I think back to 2017, Diesel. If you remember, Alabama came in what place? Second. Scott Cochran, the strength coach, took the second place trophy, and what did he do? He smashed the trophy on the ground into 1,000 pieces. Nobody had a problem with that. It just goes to show when you put so much into winning and you don't win. I love the emotion, because if you were taking selfies and trading jerseys, that's where I have a problem. But Scott Cochran threw that trophy down, and I remember that thing went into 1,000,000 pieces. And Alabama, Nick Saban, they're the pride and tradition, right? They're the gold standard of college football. Surely Alabama would never do such a thing. That's what we do. We play to win the game. And if you don't win, I'm not saying show your butt like at an AAU game, right? There's a big difference in that and being upset that you got the second place trophy. Ultimately, yes, you should be mad at yourself because, like you said, it was our fault we didn't play good. You credit Venezuela.
Sure.
But
starting pitching was amazing for Venezuela last night.
But you just have to do more offensively, and that's where it comes down to.
I would look at it like this. This team, considering how they actually played, overachieved by coming in second in this tournament. 6th in batting average, 5th in on-base percentage, 7th in slugging percentage. Yes, Team USA's pitching was amazing, but the offense was not there. So coming in second place, I would argue, Cole, and you're not going to get a Major League Baseball player or a player playing for their country to look at it like this, but the fact that you were averaging 6th place in every offensive category in this tournament, you should be thrilled with the fact that you just achieved a silver medal.
Well, Dan B he said on the YouTube stream, he said, we beat Canada. I'm happy. And a lot of people might beat, right? And yeah, beating Canada, like that's a feel good, right? You want to beat Canada. But at the same time, you want to win it all. So I understand your sentiment, Dan, if you're being serious or sarcastic, I don't know. But I do think that when you look at the lineup, that going back to what I said originally, it's one of those things in baseball. And Diesel, I love watching and learning about sports. That's one of my favorite things about sports is learning about sports. I love sitting it with coaches and being explained why this is happening, why that's happening. One thing I have yet to understand as long as I've been watching sports is why you can have in situations like this, or how you can have as star-studded of a lineup as Team USA did and just not hit.
Well, yeah, baseball is a weird sport, right? I mean, you can put guys in situational positions, and then it can just be negated, right? You have a good leadoff hitter, a good 2-hole hitter. You get to the cleanup, he grounds into a double play, and it kind of negates all of that. There's a poll up on our Twitter at the Fan Upstate. What's more embarrassing? USA losing in the finals, USA tallying just 3 hits, or the players removing their medals before reaching the dugout? Jump over to the Fan Upstate on Twitter and vote in the poll. It's up there right now. Blake Hammett on the stream says, I guess it's just bad luck to show up at the WBC in your country's hockey jerseys. I mean, Canada did it before playing USA and lost. Then USA did it last night and lost. Fantastic point.
Might be on to something.
If you're going to show up in your uniforms and you want to show off and talk a big game and puff your chest out and look all big and bad, have some class when it doesn't go your way.
Well, I think let me ask you this. When you say have class, did they throw a temper tantrum? Like, did they start kicking and screaming and throwing crap on the field? Did they start throwing things?
No, they took off the medal that they achieved for getting to that round.
And I don't think that's that big of a deal. I mean, it's just you don't like the medal as second place. If they would have thrown it and kicked Ronald Acuna in the gonads, and then I'd agree with you. Hey, show some class. But
how about
I don't
Ronnie with the leadoff single? Braves fans got to feel good. They got to be cheering under their breath for that one
till he gets hurt. Right.
God.
By the way, texter, 2 texts already about Paul Mainieri. We will get to that. Keith and TR and texter from the 724. Yes, we know what happened last night. We will get to it. I promise. Not good. And texter, I can't read that word you put in that text. Screw second place, one texter says. Come on, I can't read that on the air. So, yes, we will get to Paul Mainieri eventually. That was bad last night.
So, it doesn't go our way. We got to wait, 4 years for another one of these things? But the good news is we might see some of these guys donning the red, white, and blue and the stars for Team USA in the Olympics coming up in a couple of years, Cole, because MLB players say they are interested in participating in the 2028 Olympics. The Olympics are interested in having them participate. Major League Baseball is interested in having them participate. So as long as we get Aaron Judge off this team, I'm fine. I'm happy. I'm excited for 2028.
It does suck, though, that we have to wait 4 years for another World Baseball Classic, because it does feel like it was a really good event. And you said the atmosphere last night, like it was unbelievable. The amount of fans and the excitement and like people on their feet the entire game, it felt like. So, that's, I guess, the bad part of it. We have to wait till 2023 until the next one. Blake Hammond on the YouTube stream says, let's please not speak an Acuna injury into existence, Cole. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to
can't whisper that.
Realistic, right? But I do wonder if when you look at the totality of what happened, Diesel, or what didn't happen, I do wonder if you'll look back one day and think for Team USA not being productive at the plate like they were or weren't, I do wonder if you'll look back one day and think that was one of the biggest flops, I guess, in sports history, having that loaded of a lineup. Like, I don't think we've ever had that loaded of a lineup with Bobby Witt Jr. and Harper and Judge and those guys. And when you talk about biggest choke jobs, biggest flops in sports history, I'm not proud to say this, Diesel, but I think last night and the rest of the games, I think we're in that conversation now, because we just had way too much talent out there. And not being able to get clutch hits, put runners in scoring position, I can't explain it. I can't. And I think that when you look back one day, you'll think, man, that roster right there, how many Hall of Famers will be in the Hall of Fame from that roster compared to Team Venezuela, right? Sure. There'll be a big difference in the fact that roster couldn't get it done. I think it's embarrassing.
Hold them out of the Hall of Fame for losing in the World Baseball Classic.
It's bad.
Up next in baseball, guys, we're close. We are a week away from Major League Baseball opening day. 14 games scheduled for next Wednesday. Unfortunately, we're going to have to wait until Friday to watch the Bravos get going, Cole. But, for the Atlanta Braves and kind of turning the corner here, Acuna, he was good. He hit that leadoff single on the first pitch. He drew a walk. Acuna essentially on base 2 out of 3 times that he got up to the plate. It feels like the Braves, as bad as they were last year, they're not having to go through that gauntlet the way that they did to have to start the 2025 season,
Padres.
2024-5 season, and have the Padres or the Dodgers early in the season. They get the Royals, A's, Diamondbacks, and Angels, and most of those teams were right at 500 or worse than 500. The Braves among them. So again, they won't face that same gauntlet to get the season started. You got to feel like there's at least a fingers crossed chance that they come out of that stretch there plus 500.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, last year it was a brutal start, not just in terms of results, but also who they played. I mean, there were some tough matchups. It felt like, Diesel, last year when you and I were talking about the season and we were listening to the Tolos, it felt like a boxer that just got knocked down on the mat and could never get back up to his feet. You've watched those boxing matches over the years where It might be a good boxer. He goes down. He just can't work his way back up to his feet. He's just getting pounded every few seconds. Maybe he gets back to his knees at some point during the boxing match, Diesel, but he could never get back to his feet. And that's what it truly felt like last year for the Braves. They just got punched in the mouth early, and they were knocked down. And at no point during the season did you ever feel like, oh, this team might get back up on their feet. They waved the white flag, and it was bad. Obviously, you hope things are different. And we know the plethora of injuries that the Braves are dealing with going into the season, and that is definitely a huge disadvantage. But it's like I said the other day, I think it was off the air. Yeah, we have a lot of injuries to deal with, but you know what? At the end of the day, we got a new coach, and thank God it's not Mark DeRosa, right? But the good news is you've got guys on this roster still who are going to be available and are all getting paid a lot of money. And those guys that are getting paid a lot of money to produce, they're going to have to step up. And over the past few years, Diesel, I don't feel like the Braves have had the collective group step up like they should have compared to what they're getting paid. I mean, think about this. Marcell Ozuna carried this team the past 2 years. Think about that. That just shows you how, like Matt Olson.
They traded him away.
So now you don't have that guy, and you don't want to have to rely on one guy. The bottom line is there's still talent on the team. They've got to step up. They've got to get through the first part of the season to see if they can get some of these arms back because they are brutally banged up. Yeah. And I mean brutally banged up.
A.J. Smith-Shawver, Tommy John surgery, Joe Jimenez out with a knee surgery. Don't know when he's coming back. Hurston Waldrop out with an elbow injury. Joey Wentz, torn ACL. Spencer Schwellenbach, bone spurs and inflammation in his elbow. Sean Murphy, he's out maybe until May. It's a tough way to start the season for the Atlanta Braves.
I mean, you have to click like more 9 times.
Yeah, and Jurickson Profar being an absolute moron, taking himself out of another season.
So we'll see. I think the question, what's interesting about the Braves, I think the question that Braves fans are asking right now in 2026, and this is a tough conversation to have, but I think this is the conversation, Diesel. You won the championship in 2021, right? 5 years ago. The conversation now is, are we out of the championship window? Are we still in a championship window? And with Ronald Acuna being on the team, you want to feel like you're still in contention because you still have you do still have a good roster, and when healthy, you have a pretty good pitching staff and rotation. But I think every Braves fan out there is battling with that in their heart of hearts. And when it comes to just believing that this is a championship caliber roster, and I don't know that a lot of Braves fans feel that it is. I don't feel that it is. Obviously, you're getting a new coach going into the 2026 season, so there's a lot of questions that have to be answered, and you just think, man, my goodness, there's no way it can be worse than the last 2 years, but we'll see.
What's the goal here? 10 games over 500, 15 games over 500? If you can
I still think you have a shot in the division. Yeah. I do. I still think you have a shot in the division. And look, this thing, if we've learned anything over the past 2 decades in this division, you know that it takes a season to win the division, and a 12-game lead in June, July is not enough to win the division. We've seen that happen before. We've seen those collapses. So I think you still have enough to be in contention. Do I think the Braves are going to win the division? I don't know that they do, but I still think they have enough to be in contention if they can get the most out of their guys, and maybe, who knows, around the All-Star break or whenever, get some guys back healthy.
Looking forward to
hopefully
that big show today, Cole. Lulu Kesson going to join us.
And even bigger than Lulu Kesson, well, I don't know about that. We hit over 100. I don't know if you saw that. We hit over 100 members. In fact, we blew 100 out of the water. Right now, we are at 112. And yes, Lulu Kesson's the best. She's awesome. She'll join the show at 422. But Diesel, I set that goal for 100, not knowing if we would get there. We're at 112. So why not be even more ballsy today? And let's say, okay, we set a very high goal of 100 back when we started this thing. Let's see if we can get before tomorrow to 150.
Ooh.
We're at 112. So let's see if we can get to 150. That's a high goal.
Moving those goalposts, but I like it.
We're moving them, and Tolo's out there. I know Diesel and I have heard from you this week. Some of you that we haven't heard from since football season, we've heard from you this week. Invite your friends, invite your family. If you haven't joined the Fan Upstate Bracket Challenge yet, do so. You can do so by texting 844-326-3663. Just send the word bracket. Diesel and I will send you the link. We're at 112 as of 3:20 Diesel on the March the 18th. Let's see if we can get to 150 by end of the show.
We got this.
End of the show?
We got this.
End of the show. Okay, let's see if we can do it. 150. Here we go. 844-326-3663. Invite your friends, your family, your coworkers. Let's get this fan Upstate Bracket Challenge to 150 today. Coming up next, speaking of the bracket challenge, I was looking at my bracket this morning, Diesel, and I want to ask you and the Tolos, who has the easiest path this year? Who has the most difficult path? I think there's one team that has the easiest path by far. I'll see if you agree with me next.
Bryson and Diesel on the Fan Upstate.
Well, Diesel, there's one team that has an easy path, and there's one team that has a difficult pass. And it's up to you and I and the Tolos to decide who has the easiest and the most difficult path in this March Madness tournament. There is one team, and I want you to tell me if you agree or disagree. Tolos as well at 844-326-3663. Joy Law Firm text lines open as well as the phone lines. Diesel, I think Iowa State. I'm not a big Iowa State hater by any means, okay? So don't label me an Iowa State hater. Not the Buckeyes, but the Hawkeyes, right? Iowa State, is that right? Hawkeyes?
That's right. You better.
Yeah.
The Cyclones.
Oh, my God.
Who's Iowa Hawkeyes.
Okay, Iowa
State
Hawkeyes,
Cyclones.
Iowa State, so I don't know, obviously. I think the Iowa State Cyclones have the easiest path. Who do you like as the easiest path? I'll tell you why I like Ohio State. Oh, my God, I cannot get this right today. Iowa State, not Ohio State. All right. Iowa State, Diesel, starts out with Tennessee State. Mm-hmm. And you and I both picked Iowa State yesterday, right?
Yep.
Okay, you didn't have the 15-2 upset. No disrespect to Tennessee State. I don't think Iowa State will have much trouble. There have been 12 million brackets, by the way, who have picked Iowa State over Tennessee State. Tennessee State's a good basketball team, 23-9, but I think Iowa State has a very good matchup in that first round. Mm-hmm. And then I want you to look at who they would play in the second round. The winner of Kentucky, Santa Clara. Now, remind the Tolos, who did you have in that second round of 32 matchup? Iowa State and who?
Iowa State, Kentucky.
Okay, and you had who advancing?
I had, let's see here, I'm on the full-size bracket.
By the way,
my tournament challenge
I picked
bracket.
Santa Clara in the upset, by the way.
You did?
Yeah.
You did. Okay.
Yeah.
I believe here, give me 1 second, I'll get there. I had Kentucky,
that's what
Iowa
I thought.
State in that round.
Okay, and you had who winning?
Iowa State winning.
That's what I thought. Mm-hmm. So, Iowa State wins the second game in the round of 32. If they were to win that game, they would play the winner of who I have is Tennessee, Virginia. Do you also have Tennessee, Virginia?
I do.
And you have who playing Iowa State?
Virginia.
Virginia State, Iowa State, or Virginia, Iowa State, you have who?
Virginia.
Okay, so you have the Cyclones going down
in the Elite Eight.
Elite Eight to the Cavaliers.
Correct.
I have them in that game, and I think I would agree with you that Iowa State will play Virginia. I do agree with that. I think that will be a very close basketball game, and I could see it going either way.
Sorry, that would be the Sweet 16. Not
Sweet 16. And if they were to get to the Elite Eight, Diesel, they would play maybe a Michigan or a Texas Tech. I think when I looked at all the paths for these teams, and you tell me if you see one that's more favorable, I think Iowa State has the easiest path. And I know you say, well, Cole, they have to play Virginia and Michigan, but they don't have to play Houston or a Florida or a UConn or a Duke. Would you say there's one that jumps off the page to you as easier than Iowa State?
Easier than that?
I'm not saying it's an easy path.
Right. These are all hard paths, right? These are all,
you gotta win the games.
All tough. I would lean to stay where you are in a 2 seed. I would lean Houston, because Houston has to get past Idaho. And again, no disrespect to Idaho. 21 wins, though. They're a 15 seed for a reason. Houston gets them. They get past Idaho. They get St. Mary's. Smaller conference program. You definitely out-talent them. You outspend them by a ton. You should be able to get past 7 seed St. Mary's. I've got Houston beating Illinois in the Sweet 16. Then it gets legitimately tough in Florida.
Very tough. And that's why relative, or I think easy, becomes a relative term, Diesel, because eventually when you get down to the Elite Eight and Final Four, there are no easy games. And again, easy is a tough word. I don't think winning a first round game or a second round game is easy, But if you have to look at the matchups, Tolos, who do you think in your bracket? Diesel and I did our entire bracket predictions yesterday. Want to hear from you at 844-326-3663. Talking to you, Shane Barrett on the stream, Blake, JB, Dan B, Dewey. Who do you think has the easiest path in the bracket? And we also, yesterday, Diesel shared our champions as well. We both had Duke winning, cutting down the nets, right? You and I both did have Duke. Tolos, I want to give you the opportunity to tell us who you have winning it all as well. 844-326-3663. I just don't know. When you look at Houston, you said that's who you'd go with. Here's what I don't know about Houston. I don't know, Diesel, enough about St. Mary's. And I know St. Mary's has been a good team all year. But I'll be frank with you. I hadn't watched St. Mary's many times this year, right? They're a 27-win team. Mm-hmm. So trying to compare the path of Houston versus the path of Iowa State, I just don't feel like I really know this St. Mary's team well. And with that being said, I think this game with St. Mary's and Houston in the round of 32, if you get there, might be one of the more intriguing games. Now, St. Mary's has to beat A&M.
St. Mary's has exactly one big win or one big game over a power conference team, and that would be Vanderbilt, and they lost by 25. Right? I mean, great. You beat Wichita State by 5. If this was, 2004, I'd say you did something beating Wichita State.
Yeah.
They lose a lot of close games. I mean, they keep a lot of these big games against their best opponents within 10 points, and that's great. I mean, you're able to hang with anybody, but you got to be able to get over the hump there. I mean, they beat Gonzaga. Great. They beat Gonzaga by 11. Beat up on Santa Clara, but again, another small conference team.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You do scare me a lot right there when you said that about St. Mary's. Why am I picking St. Mary's to beat A&M then? Why am I picking St. Mary's to win a first-round game? And again, I know that that might sound disrespectful because
I think that's some football bias.
It might be. I don't know.
A&M in the playoffs.
St. Mary's won, 27 games? Mm-hmm. Not saying that's not impressive because it is. 27-5 is a heck of a season. I just don't know, and I'm having this battle with a lot of these first-round games, Diesel, in the round of 64. You did scare me off of the St. Mary's pick a little bit there.
St. Mary's 1-4 in quad 1 games.
Yeah.
8-1 against quad 2.
I'm surprised they played that
against quad 3 and 4. So,
okay.
Essentially, that puts you at 9-5 against the top 100 of college basketball or top 50 of college basketball.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that Texas A&M's world beaters. I hadn't been overly impressed with A&M this year by any stretch. They're a 10 seed after all, right? They did go 21-11. So because of that, I think this is one of the more intriguing first-round games between A&M and St. Mary's. And I think, Diesel, this is what makes the tournament and March Madness the most special, exciting in all of sports. It's the best postseason because you have matchups like this with A&M and St. Mary's where we just don't know. We just don't know how they match up. It's not football, right, where you can control the line of scrimmage and dominate and assert your dominance, and it's a one-game format, right? I think if you truly want to know the best team, you play a 7-game series. But I think this is what makes March Madness the most exciting tournament in all of sports because who really knows? Rocco Miller might. Who really knows if A&M or St. Mary's is the better team? I love it. I absolutely
in a winner-take-all format where anything could happen, you got to love it. I mean, if they played the championship series of last night's WBC in a 3-game series, I'd be confident saying Team USA wins that series.
Yeah, who knows?
But it's not the way that format that tournament is formatted. It's not the way this tournament is formatted. I love it. It's just it's pure chaos, and you got to get through 2 or 3 days of back-to-backs, and then you finally get a chance to breathe and figure out and scout the other team a little bit. I mean,
God, it's
so
a fun.
Crash course in learning programs.
I love it.
That you otherwise would never have a reason to face.
A few texts and some interaction coming in, 844-326-3663. Diesel, Shane Barrett on YouTube. Let me talk you into St. Mary's. All right, here we go. Let's see how good Shane can do here, convincing you and I. By the way, who'd you pick in that game? St. Mary's or A&M? I've forgotten who you picked. I've been back and forth like for
St. Mary's. I got St. Mary's in that game.
Shane says Bucky is in his first year in a Power 4, and they barely beat NIT team Auburn on a controversial buzzer beater. And I know, Shane, like, I agree with you. Like I said a minute ago, I have not been very impressed with A&M this year. Yes, they have played good teams, but, like, there's nothing that they've done that's really overly impressed me. So, like, that part of me tells me pick St. Mary's. Then what you say about St. Mary's against, Vandy, it scares me. I don't know, but it's a one-game format. Yeah. You just don't know, and that's why anything can happen.
I give them enough credit to be able to win the first game, but I don't have them going any deeper than that.
Yeah, I think I have them winning that one too. Tolo J. Butane says Arkansas. It'll be Duke, Arkansas final, and Duke wins. Another texter says Duke has easiest path by far. All right, let's look at that.
They got to beat Siena.
That's tough.
Then the winner of TCU, Ohio State.
And let me agree with the texter thus far on those two games. Thus far, he's right. Those two games,
right?
I don't think Ohio State, Diesel, or TCU will present any challenges for Duke.
And then in all likelihood, they get either St. John's or Kansas.
Man, I think that's tough.
Either St. John's or Kansas.
I have them playing Kansas. You have them playing St. John's, right?
I've got them playing St. John's.
I remember that from yesterday.
Yeah.
So up until the Sweet 16, I actually agree with the texter that Duke does have an easy path to the Sweet 16.
And then you get either Louisville, who had a player go down for a game, Michigan State,
or UConn,
and UConn, or Furman. You never know.
Or Furman. That's right. That's true. By the way, the injury today did make me change. I changed my pick. I am now taking South Florida with Michael Brown out. I'm taking South Florida to upset Louisville and Pat Kelsey in the first round. So I am now taking the Bulls to win that game because that is a very big injury, Diesel. I'm not saying one player makes Louisville's team, but I think that's a big injury. So I'm taking South Florida after that news earlier today. You're right. Duke does have an easy path the first two. I don't think there's any chance they stumble against Ohio State or TCU. I have them playing Kansas. Again, you have them playing St. John's. I think Kansas would be a tough matchup for Duke. And I think St. John's would be a good matchup. Shane says Duke has one of the hardest paths after the Sweet 16. And that's kind of what you and I were hinting at, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kansas, UConn, Florida. So what if I told you that, Diesel? In order for Duke to get to the national championship, they have to beat Kansas, UConn, and Florida just to get to the national championship game. They have to win those three games, Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final 4, before they even get to the championship. That is a three-game gauntlet if it were to be Kansas, UConn, and Florida. I do think there's a chance Florida could get them. I do think so. Do I feel confident in picking Florida? No. If that game were to happen in the Final 4, I think that'd be a great game, by the way. And you know the worst part about that? We have to wait. I'm not even going to say this because it's going to make you upset.
6 months.
7 months.
Good God.
We have to wait 2.5 weeks before we even get to the Final 4. I don't want to wait that long.
I hate that they're stretching these things out so much.
I don't want to wait that long. I want it all back to back to back to back to back to back to back. I want the Final 4 on Tuesday and the national championship on Wednesday. That's what I want.
So you should have 1 day of rest. 1 day of rest.
1 day.
Then you get to play the title game.
Jeff R. Is Jeff R. breaking some news on the Joy Law Firm text line, Diesel?
He is. I hadn't seen this yet.
Oh, look at Jeff R. breaking some news. Let's verify. Let's text Dewey to verify. That's how we verify news around here, right? We text Dewey. Hey, Dewey, is it true? Eagles acquiring Panthers quarterback Andy Dalton. It looks like CBS Sports is reporting it, Diesel. So shout out to Jeff R. That's why we love you, Tolos. You can help us break news.
Mike K from the Charlotte Observer is on this.
He's reporting it.
It's real.
So there you talked about this a couple of weeks ago with Andy Dalton being the quarterback, the backup in Carolina. Are you, as a Panther fan, what is your reaction to this?
He was a good player. He's just old. He's just really old. And they got younger, bringing in Kenny Pickett. And you're like, okay, They did what they needed to do. They got younger at the backup position.
He's 38, by the way.
Andy won him a game in the 2024 season. Am I right? It's 2024
Sounds
where he went
right,
on the
yeah.
road and won at Las Vegas, I think.
Yeah, I think that's right.
That wasn't last year, I don't think. But great. You're getting younger at the backup position. I think it's a fine move. I don't have a problem with it.
No, I think it's a good move on the Panthers' part in terms of age, what you said. Now, I don't like it for Philly. That's where I kind of
– it's a head scratcher.
Well, what? Backup Jalen Hurts? Maybe I'm missing something there, but I mean, I thought Tanner McKee was like the guy in Philadelphia that everybody was excited about. And this one, like you just said, it does make you scratch your head a little bit. Andy Dalton to Philly. Does Andy Dalton fit that system? I don't know. So, yes, Jeff R., that is true. Thank you for breaking that news and letting us know of that. That is an interesting trade in the NFL.
Yeah, go collect that paycheck,
That's
Andy.
right.
Somebody's still willing to pay you to stand on the sidelines and maybe go in once or twice a season. Do it, by God. Do it. Cole, when we come back, let's do this. Let's talk about Tiger, the man, Tiger. He's hinted at maybe playing in the Masters. We'll touch on that. And the menu for Rory McIlroy's Champions Dinner has been revealed. I wonder how many of these dishes Cole Bryson has tried before. That's next.
Fan Upstate.
You know, one thing that nobody has ever accused either of us, Cole, of being is fancy. Never said,
No.
You guys turn your nose up at the simple things in life. That is not the case. But I just wonder, Cole, now that the Masters Club dinner menu for Rory McIlroy's Championship Club dinner, where he gets to pick the menu, I just wonder how many of these things, Cole, you've eaten something similar to, or some of these things that you might not eat at all. Would you consider yourself a picky eater?
No, not at all.
Not at all?
I'm the
Okay.
total opposite of picky.
Well, they are
why
for
I'm-
the appetizers. You're going to have 4 choices, Cole.
Okay.
All of these sound fantastic.
I hadn't seen this, by the way, yet.
Grilled elk sliders,
Oh, I've had elk. Love
Amazing.
that. Love that.
caramelized onion jam, roasted garlic aioli. That sounds
Oh,
incredible.
God, that does sound good. Yeah.
Rock shrimp tempura with a creamy, spicy sauce.
I've had shrimp tempura.
Love the sound
Yeah,
of both of those
yeah.
items. I would make a whole plate out of just those 2 appetizers. How about
there's
bacon?
by the way, there's a restaurant here locally, not going to shout them out, here in Greenville that has really good shrimp tempura.
Okay.
Really, I'll tell you off the air because they're not a sponsor. But sorry, the fourth one was?
Third one is bacon wrapped dates. So it's a fruit wrapped in a bacon.
I don't like dates. So I would probably not eat the bacon wrapped dates.
You just take the bacon
Yeah,
off.
I was going to say I'll take
You
the
know, you
bacon
get
off.
a little bit of that fruit glaze flavor on the inside, a little sweet, mostly bacon, but goat
I'd try
cheese
it.
and almonds.
I'd
with
try
that,
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried.
And then finally, this sounds amazing. Peach and ricotta flatbread
Oh,
with
my God.
balsamic, hot honey, and basil.
Oh, that sounds
Delicious.
really good. This is Rory. I'll tell you what.
4 out of 4.
You know, I've seen a lot of these. You and I have talked about them over the years. This one might be the best one yet. Scotty's wasn't that good. I didn't think of it. It was kind of just American-ish.
Cheeseburgers.
This one sounds really, really good. I think so far. Now,
Yep.
those are just appetizers.
Those are
Is
just
that right?
appetizers.
Okay.
First course, Cole, is yellowfin tuna carpaccio, which is raw tuna, but carpaccio means it's sliced very, very thin with fragua.
Fragua.
Which is, duck fat and duck liver,
Mhm.
which I know you love hunting ducks, so I'm sure you've had it before. Toasted baguette and chives.
Listen, it doesn't sound like something I would enjoy. However, here's what I'll say. If it's being prepared for the Masters dinner, I'm sure it's good.
Right.
So me not being picky, I'd probably like it.
Have you ever had any kind of carpaccio?
Don't think so.
There's a restaurant downtown Greenville right there at the end of the curved suspension bridge. You might know the hotel that
Mhm.
sits on top of it. They make a delicious bison carpaccio. So
Ooh.
it's raw bison, but it's cured,
Yeah,
so
I'll try it.
it's not really raw, but it's not been cooked over a flame.
Right. No, I'd definitely try it. Not too good for it.
Main course, you get a choice of. So tell me which one of these you would choose.
Oh, you only get to choose one?
You get to choose. Well,
Can
might go back for seconds,
Okay, gotcha.
but let me just pretend.
Okay.
Just pretend you got to
Just
pick one.
All right.
A Wagyu filet mignon or seared salmon. Like, come on,
That's not even
Rory.
close.
Nobody's getting the salmon.
No, not even
Get
close.
outta here.
Unless they have just some kind of, beef with beef, right?
Yeah.
No, I love salmon.
Mhm.
I do. Love it. Especially in the air fryer at home. You can throw that thing in there quick and it's delicious. However, no, nobody's passing up Wagyu. Are you kidding
Right.
me? No. Give me
Unless
the
it's like, when you go to a restaurant, you order a filet. It's like the size of half
Hockey
of a
puck.
deck of cards.
Yeah.
You get that with sauteed Brussels sprouts, glazed carrots with brown butter, and crispy Vidalia onion rings. So look at them, staying local there.
It
with
is
the
healthy,
Vidalia
though.
onions.
It is healthy. Like
Yeah.
I would have rather had a baked potato, chives and load it up. But it is a somewhat healthy.
Yeah.
I like it, though. He's a pretty fit guy, by the way.
Yeah. He can't go blowing his
Calories.
body fat percentage
Yeah.
the night before the tournament
bad.
starts. And for dessert, Cole, there's a sticky toffee pudding
Mm.
with vanilla ice cream and warm toffee sauce.
Oh, that's a pretty good menu there. I
Crushing
think
it.
Rory did pretty good. I mean, I don't know if he had any influence on that, like if anybody helped him with it, or if he allowed opinions. Like, that's a good question. If you got to choose the Masters dinner, would you ask anybody's opinion at all?
No, not at all. I would say, here's what I want to eat as the main dish. Cause I don't know menus and how to do recipes like that. I would say, I want flat iron steak or filet steak or whatever it may be. And then you just design something that would be delicious to go with
The
that.
the sides. I think I'd be so simple. I'd say, here's what I want. I want the longest table you can fit in the room. And in that table, on the table, I want crab legs from the table to the ceiling.
Ooh.
And that's all I want. Butter. I mean, I would be totally fine if that's all we had.
So here was Scotty's Masters Club dinner last year. Cheeseburger sliders served Scotty style, whatever that is. Firecracker shrimp, sweet Thai chili, and sriracha mayo. It's good.
Yeah.
It feels like, though, that Rory's flexing on him there with the tempura shrimp. Papa Chef's meatball and ravioli bites with pecorino cheese and a tomato basil sauce. That sounds like Chef Boyardee, to be honest, by comparison to the Carpaccio. The first course was Texas style chili with cheddar cheese, jalapenos, and corn chips.
What are we doing? Is that really what his was last year?
Yeah. The main course for Scotty was wood-fired cowboy ribeye or blackened redfish.
Okay.
I'm good with his main course.
Yeah.
But the sides were family-style mac and cheese, jalapeno creamed corn, soy glazed Brussels sprouts. So there's some commonality there. Chipotle lime roasted sweet potatoes. And for dessert, he had warm chocolate chip skillet cookie with vanilla bean ice cream.
It sounds like Scotty let his kids pick the menu and not him. It does. I think Rory had the much better menu there. I really do. And that's the menu that Rory will have here in what? Couple of weeks, right? A few weeks.
I didn't realize that the Northern Irish palate was so much more refined than the Texas palate.
I'm telling you what, it is a little bit more based on the Masters dinner. I love it. Diesel, it is cram time. I don't know what your cramming looked like before the night before you had a final exam. I know what mine looked like. Most of the time it was me breaking out the book and the study for the first time, right? But it is time for you and I to have one last cram session. Injuries. Latest news, play-in game results, anything we've missed, any last-minute changes on your bracket, Tolos, and our bracket. Study cram time because this exam begins tomorrow. We'll get into college basketball next. Diesel, before we get into a little cram session, just one day away from the best tournament in all of sports, I do want to give a shout out to one of our Tolos. I forgot to do this in hour number 1, but I was in a gas station this morning, and I turned the corner and I heard somebody say, "Oh, that show Wire to Wire, something that ain't no good," something like that. Shout out, he was kidding, I think. Shout out to Brandon in Spartanburg. I saw him in Woodruff this morning and chatted with him for a few minutes. Big Tolo says he listens. He actually came to Ingles last Wednesday. Remember that?
Yeah, he came by to see us.
He said he listens all the time. He delivers for Coke, and he is a big Tolo. So shout out to Brandon. Good to see you this morning. It's always funny when you run into people like that. You don't know if they're being serious or, it's so fun. And
you're going to have to turn around and fight somebody.
I know, but the worst part is I am terrible with people's names, remembering, but I did remember Brandon. Obviously, like you said, he came by Ingles last week. So I got to see one of our Tolos 2 weeks in a row. And I hope that you and I get to see a lot of our Tolos tomorrow and Friday. We've done well with this bracket challenge, pumping this thing up. How much can we pump up? How many Tolos can we coerce into showing up tomorrow? And I act like it's a bad thing. I mean, great food.
Yeah.
Good drinks, basketball, bowling alley at Rigsby's Classic Rock Cafe. What's our head count? I mean, how many do you think we can get there tomorrow is what I want to know.
It's just like anything. We want to make a great impression on the business. We want them to have us back. And the best way to ensure that is for you Tolos who are in Spartanburg tomorrow to come by and see us. You got a 4-hour window to come by and see us, grab some food, grab some drinks, watch some basketball.
I mean, what else are you going to be doing, right?
You can stay all night. Like we won't stay all night, but you can.
You might can like twist my arm into staying. If I will say, I live in Spartanburg. If Tolos showed up and wanted to stay late, I'd stay late and watch basketball with the Tolos. But let's see it tomorrow. To Diesel's point, Spartanburg Tolos. And I know Shane Barrett's one that great example, Diesel. He works in Spartanburg but lives in Greenville. And I think Shane Barrett told me last week he was going to be there tomorrow. So
nice.
Come by, like Diesel said, for a few minutes or a few hours, regardless. And we'll be downtown Spartanburg tomorrow at Rigsby's Classic Rock Cafe and join the Fan Upstate Bracket Challenge. As of right now, Diesel, we have 113 Tolos in. Can we get to 150 by the end of the show? Text the word bracket to 844-326-3663, and we will get you that link. I don't know a lot of these names, which is a really good thing. Yeah. But which also means a lot of these Tolos don't interact. They need to, by the way, right? But, I mean, I'm looking down. I see AJ, D-Rats. Oh, look at there. April Mosley. Did you see April Mosley in there?
I didn't see that she was in this.
Yes.
Thing. Oh, yes.
Oh,
God. If the Mosley family is involved in this.
No, that's a good point.
They're going to kill us because they're so good at the.
It was Dave that won the upset picks. Is that right?
I believe so.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Like smoked the field. Wasn't even close.
I forgot about that. Now we don't need to allow Dave in. So no Dave, because Dave will smoke us in this too, right? Let's see who else is in there. I see Tolo Layer, Tolo Steve, Gold Rush. How about Gold Rush? Hadn't heard from Gold Rush in a while, right?
Just remember, Tolos, to go back and make sure you change your name. Because it's going to assign you like ESPN fan and like 30 numbers.
Yeah.
Go in and change your name. It's real simple. If you're on a web page and you're inside of your profile, you just click on the little gear icon and you can change your name right there.
I love it. I'm just reading some of these. Frisbee Dave, Boomer Bill, Justin, Dinner Served, Gus's Great Bracket, The Chosen Nobody. I like that, by the way. Bronco Brian. What is this? Smoovel. SMOOVEL 16. Smoovel 16? I don't think I've heard of that, Tolo. Have you?
No, but that's a great name.
I love it. Palmetto Ty. Yippee Kai Yay Mother Dunker is in there. Did you see that one in there? We've got some good ones.
Be careful when you read that.
I know. It's really bad.
By the way, your time is running out. Brackets lock tomorrow at 12:15 p.m.
Ooh.
On ESPN.com. Brackets lock tomorrow. So you have 20 hours, 10 minutes left to get your brackets in.
Less than a day. Oh, my gosh.
Dan is Yippee Kaye.
No way.
Mother Dunkers.
No, I didn't know that.
Dan B.
I did not know that.
I was expecting like Flyboy, something like that, but
You were no. You were expecting. You know what you were expecting. Oh, wrong one. Wrong button. Wrong one. Sorry. Try again. Bing bong.
Bing bong. Dan, I love Yippee-ki-yay Mother Dunkers,
It is a good one.
but Bing bong is
That is good, man. That's really
should
good.
be your bracket name.
It should be. I like it a lot. So, Tolos, get in the bracket. Let's see you tomorrow in Spartanburg. We want to see you there. Let's have a lot of fun with this because these next 2 days are going to be awesome.
Well, a texter on the Joy Law Firm text line, 844-326-3663, just texted, how do I get in on y'all's bracket? Well, you texted us the word bracket, so we just sent you the link.
Bam. And I think we double texted them. So my bad, texter.
You got it twice.
You got it twice. No excuse now.
Well, you can text the word bracket to 844-FAN-PHONE. You could go to our Facebook or our Twitter pages at the Fan Upstate, and we have a link pinned to the top of both of those.
Yeah.
So that you can find it quickly and easily.
We've got some good names in this, man. I just like looking through them. We love the interaction during the show and then seeing all you Tolos in here. It's awesome. Alan from Boiling Springs, Scott, Don't Stop D leaving. That's you. It's got you at the very top right now, by the way.
Nice. I won't be there for
You
long.
know that? You're the
I
very
won't
top.
be there for long.
And bam, just like that, 114 is where we now are. We're growing one by one. Let's get this thing to 150.
And another
Tolos.
texter just asked
Let's
for the
go.
link.
Let's
So,
go.
Sent. You
Let's
got
go.
it here in just a moment.
All right, this cram session. Let's start with, this is big news, like really big news. Something that made you and I, like we need a breaking sound. This made you and I both change one of our picks.
Play that little horn thing.
I got you. Ready? Diesel and I have changed our pick, and we're now taking South Florida to upset.
Doubles to upset Louisville. They don't even know how to say the name of their own city.
That's a bomb
Louisville.
drop right there.
Yeah.
Now, is it Michael Brown? I don't know if I may be pronouncing it wrong.
Let's ask Travis Etienne. How do you say it?
Jeez. But big news today, maybe the biggest news of the day. Like a couple of days ago, we had athletes, getting caught for not just a little weed, but what, did you say 2
pounds?
That's why by the way, that's why they call it roll tide. You're rolling it up, right? That's why they call it roll tide.
Smoking the competition down there.
But Diesel, this is big. This is big. Louisville star. This is not a backup. This is not a role player, Michael Brown. He's a freshman. He's a star for the Louisville Cardinals. And it was announced today that he will miss first round game against South Florida because of a back injury, with a mixed messaging about his availability for a potential second round game. They said the school said Brown will remain out the rest of this week and should be on the roster if the Cardinals would advance to the round of 32. Pat Kelsey wouldn't comment. This is obviously a big enough deal for you and I to change our pick.
Both of us did. I mean, I was 60-40 on the game before.
Yeah.
Leaning Louisville, but obviously now with Brown being out, I'm going the opposite direction. And also USF got this, they got the emotional bump, Cole. They found out that their coach said, nope, I'm not going to Syracuse. I'm staying in Tampa.
Makes you feel good, right? It makes you feel good about your coach, his commitment to the program. And I mean, it also says something about Hughes, right?
Yeah, it says a lot about Syracuse.
But I do agree with you. Tolos, is that enough for you? And we're not going to change ours based on what you do, but I do want to know at 844-FAN-PHONE, FANFONE, is Brown being out for Louisville enough for you to change your pick? Because I would imagine, Diesel, most of our Tolos picked Louisville, right?
Well, he's a roughly 20 point a night kind of guy.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's
his teammates will step up around him and make up some of that, but how do you make up 20 points a night?
That's a lot. And you know what's kind of weird about that? I kind of like their path if they were to win. Not saying Michigan State's not any good, but I just think that the first and second round might have been favorable for Louisville. If they would have beat South Florida, Diesel, they would play Michigan State. Michigan State's a good team, a 3 seed. I don't think this is one of Izzo's best Michigan State teams, right? Mm-hmm. But I think that, hey, maybe they could have went on to win that game and they could play UConn. I mean, UConn would have just gotten beat up bad by Furman. bumped and bruised. Furman, I'm kidding, kind of. But I did like the path. So earlier in the hour, you and I talked about hey, who's got the easiest path, Diesel? We didn't talk about Louisville and not having Brown now. This is a huge blow because they could have made a Sweet 16, in my opinion. And I think this is a big, big blow to Louisville.
Breaking news. Dan B has changed his name from Yippee-Ki-Yay Mother Dunkers to Welcome to the Party, pal, Bing Bong.
Ooh, so we went a little Bing Bong. I like the Bing Bong.
Yeah.
I like it, Dan B. And for those that don't know, Dan B's a pilot.
Staying with the Die Hard reference.
That's why we play that when Dan B comes on the show. So that is awesome. By the way, Brandon Burnett gets in on the Joy Law Firm text line, Diesel, and says, thanks for sending twice. Brandon Burnett bracket team is Chaos Committee.
Chaos Committee.
I like that. He says, good luck, guys. Good luck to you too, Brandon. I like Chaos Committee.
Okay.
But that might not be a good thing. But your bracket might be chaos.
We won't remember that. I promise you, Brandon. We won't remember
you
that
don't think
tomorrow
so?
when we got to read through these. Be like,
You
Chaos
don't think so?
Committee. Why did Chaos Committee only get 2 out of 32 games right?
Yeah.
What's
and by the
going
way,
on?
Tolos, tomorrow and Friday's show is going to be so much fun. If you can't make it out to Spartanburg, please be a part of the show and the text line, phone lines. As you can imagine, Diesel and I are going to be talking 4 hours of nonstop just reaction of what's going on, the latest, who won, who lost. For those of you that have to work tomorrow and can't sit around and watch basketball all day, we do hate it for you, but we'll have you covered. So make sure you plan to be a part of the show tomorrow. Let me ask you this question. Bigger deal. And this one's tough. I don't know how I answer this, Diesel, but I'm going to answer it as well. Bigger deal going into March Madness. Michael Brown going out or going down for Louisville, or Alabama losing one of their players to the green, if you will. Which one's a bigger deal? Which one hurts more? By the way, it's Aiden Holloway, right? Aiden Holloway, who was arrested and suspended. I know that being arrested is a bigger deal than an injury, but I'm saying which will hurt the team more? Does Alabama hurt more from Holloway, or is it Louisville and Brown? It's tough, right?
Yeah, it depends on how long Holloway is going to be out. I mean, state of Alabama, big-time player. They might
the cops, a Bama grad.
Yeah, they might reduce the charge a little bit to a misdemeanor amount. No, I don't know how you do that now that the world knows that it was 2 pounds of weed. I don't know how you reduce that.
Pounds.
They'll say there were 3 other people in the car, Cole, and he only had a quarter pound of weed on him. But
you did the math.
But and that's bad. So, but we have yet to find out whether or not it's going to take him out through a majority of this tournament or not. But with Brown having a back injury, man, you just don't know how his development and recovery is going to go. He's out for a game, maybe 2, potentially longer. I mean, what if he came back in the second game? If they get past USF, he comes back in the second game and he retweaks it and re-injures it, and now he's out for even more games.
I think Bama also dealing with some other injuries. I think they're in a little bit of a pickle here, and I think it hurts them more because they're already dealing with other stuff. Now, Nate Oates, how good of a coaching job he could do in this tournament and somehow still get this team to go on a run would be impressive, Diesel, without Holloway. But I think Bama might be hurting a little more. Now, no, we're not done yet. Duke, likely. Have you seen this? This is big news.
Yep.
I don't know if this is as big. But you tell me. Duke likely without Patrick Gungba for the NCAA tournament opener. Now, it's not Boozer, so the quality of player, it's not like you're losing one of the guys, but it's a big man.
Yeah.
Still battling that foot injury.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is big.
He's worth 11 a night. He's getting a lot of rebounds, though. That's the thing. He cleans up the glass for Duke. He moves the ball around fairly well. He doesn't take a ton of shots, so I don't know that it's going to hurt him so much scoring-wise. And given the fact that they've got Siena in the first round And then who might they have in the second round here? Ohio State, TCU.
Or TCU, yeah.
I don't know that losing his 10 points tonight is really going to hurt him, considering how good a defense they play. But it could be one of those situations. They face TCU or Ohio State in the second round, and all of a sudden they can't get second shot opportunities. They might be in trouble.
I just wonder though if we're not talking about these injuries enough for Duke, because Duke's a really good team, and a lot of people like you and I have them winning the championship, but this is not the only guy they're missing.
They lost 2 guys for the ACC tournament.
That's what I'm saying. So are we making a big – I mean, like, they're still very, very good.
Beat up at the wrong time.
And I know.
Beat up at the wrong time.
Is that a big deal? Do we make too much of that? Do we not make enough of that? Tolos, does that affect your confidence in Duke? I still think they're going to make a deep run.
See, I don't think that would hurt them until at least the Sweet 16.
And maybe not. But Caleb Foster's a good player. Gungba's a good player, right? And those are, by the way, Diesel, Gungba and Foster are both starters. Mm-hmm. So it's not like they're guys off. I mean, that matters. I'm not saying don't pick Duke to win it all now, but I'm just saying, like, hey, you just mentioned they still won the ACC. They still managed to find a way to win that game, right? Dealing with a couple of injuries. But you could argue that Gungba's a more valuable piece because of what he does defensively. And I talked about it yesterday, Diesel, or Monday. After watching that game in person Saturday night in Charlotte, I just think Duke defensively is the best team defensively, collectively as a unit in the country. And when you look at what Gungba does defensively, there's a lot of that defensive success comes from him down in the paint. And
yeah,
he's strong. He can finish. And I think this is, again, I'm not saying hit the panic button because they'll be fine against Siena.
They got through the ACC tournament without him. He didn't play in the ACC tournament. How much will that amount of rust hurt him? He hadn't played since March 2nd. So it'll be 2.5, almost 3 weeks since he's played a game. Now, I'm sure he's in the gym. I'm sure he's taking shoot-arounds. Who knows what kind of drills he's able to do.
What did you say the date was?
March 2nd was the last time he played.
So it does make, when you say that, it does make it sound more impressive that Duke's been able to still do this without him. Like, I didn't realize he hadn't been on the floor for that long. That's a long time. And that's what, 16 days they hadn't had him. So, again, to me, it just goes to show how good of a job John Shire's done. You lose Caleb Foster, you lose Gungba, and do they look like they're missing a beat? That's my bad. I thought he played in the tournament, so he's been out for a while now, almost half a month. So I don't know. You tell me. Big deal? I mean, are we making too much of it? I mean, they're important injuries, but it seems like Diesel, every player that steps up for Duke just fills those shoes.
Well, it makes you wonder, if they've got to fill those shoes with extra minutes with other guys, do you wear them down? Do you get a little thin, even though you're more talented than the other teams? Just being thin wear you out.
Well, I think it does matter.
Yeah.
They're playing with 7 guys right now, by the way.
True.
Duke is. So, will it matter against Siena? No.
Well,
will it matter eventually? Yeah, I think so. Right.
Well, speaking of playing with the full complement of all your weapons, Lulu Kesson of the Greenville News, she's at 100%. We're going to talk to Lulu about the South Carolina Gamecocks headed into the women's tournament next, right here on the Fan Upstate. Well, let's talk South Carolina Gamecocks as they're heading into the women's tournament, Cole, with aspirations of Final Four, maybe even another national championship to put in Dawn Staley's cabinet. We talk about it with Lulu Kesson of the Greenville News. Lulu, when you heard the news the other day that Clemson was going to be in Columbia in South Carolina's region, what were your first thoughts? Any additional hype around the program and the players for their first ever postseason Palmetto rivalry?
Yeah, well, I thought it was interesting, especially because it's Clemson.
So maybe we have a little internet issue here around Odyssey Greenville. We got Lulu now?
I don't know. That's a great question.
Okay.
No, surely not internet issues here or any kind of issues. Lulu, what about now?
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Gotcha.
we lost you. Sorry about that.
No worries. But yeah, I guess just interesting that Clemson and South Carolina are meeting again in the postseason. I don't think a lot of people anticipated that matchup, for Clemson to be the 8th seed in their region. Southern Cal is a team that South Carolina also played in November. So definitely a fun element that there's, a Palmetto rivalry in the postseason. But I do think it'll be interesting for South Carolina. They'll probably have a lot more Clemson fans there than, another 8 seed would bring. And so it's interesting to see. It's sort of an early test for South Carolina to handle some maybe opposing fans in March Madness.
Lulu, is it interesting to you to see, you cover South Carolina, but to see Clemson also in state having success under Sean Poppy so early in his career? But what kind of makes it interesting to me is the fact that even though Clemson's been very, very successful and they're getting better and better, you tell me, based on the first meeting between Clemson and South Carolina this year, and the only meeting, those two programs, it feels like, are still light years apart. Would you say the same, or do you think they're closer than what the score showed the last time?
Yeah, well, Clemson's a team that takes a lot of three-pointers, and they missed a lot of three-pointers when they played South Carolina. I definitely don't think it's a bad sign if this game ends up being closer than the first time around. I do still think that there's a pretty large gap with South Carolina and a lot of other teams, and I respect a lot of what Sean Poppy is doing at Clemson, and I think that he's definitely, if given the time by the administration, able to build Clemson and, back up into something, which I know it had been before. And so I think in some ways I anticipate a closer game. Just this is a more mature Clemson team than it was in November. It's a team that beat Duke. It's a team that's picked up some really quality wins from that early loss. And I think South Carolina's learned a lot as well. But Clemson they live by the 3, die by the 3. So that'll be a huge factor, I think, in the score overall.
Lulu, I filled out my women's bracket earlier today, and this is not a homer pick, but I really have South Carolina making a run deep in this thing. Answer this how you want. It's a loaded question. Do you have South Carolina-Texas rematch in the national championship game?
I don't have that in the national championship game, only because I really believe in this UCLA team. And I say that because this UCLA team has a lot of seniors. It's basically now or never for this UCLA. I'm not saying Corey Close, her recruits coming in aren't bound, for their own type of greatness. But this is a very veteran-heavy UCLA team that I think if any year, in the next 2 or 3, it seems like right now would be that year. And it's, Texas is incredibly talented, but that's going to be a tough Final Four matchup for Texas to get through. The same way I think it'll be tough, for both UConn and South Carolina. So, it's always, I think UConn's a machine, but at the same time, I think any team, no matter undefeated or not, everyone has the ability to lose in March. Everybody has the ability to win in March. That's what makes everyone, fall in love with March Madness. So I would not be surprised. I know that this is sort of a scapegoat answer, but I wouldn't be surprised if South Carolina's in the national championship, but I also wouldn't be surprised if, their run stops at the Final Four.
Lulu, in your time spent with Dawn Staley, has she expressed thoughts much on breaks like this? I mean, it's a a pretty long break from the time the Gamecocks lost to Texas and the time they will get back on the floor. Is she a fan, not a fan, big deal, no big deal?
I think any other year, probably the break might feel a little bit longer, but South Carolina, just injury-wise, I think really did need some rest and some time to, actually heal and then get to work. Whereas, normally you feel the pressure to begin a lot of scouting and practicing ahead of time, and you don't really give your body that break or even the mental break. So honestly, I'm very curious to see how South Carolina does, having lost the SEC tournament championship, because in some ways I was not fully impressed with how South Carolina performed in, March overall last year. And I know you might say, oh my God, they made it to the national championship, whatever, but they won a lot of games sort of in some close kind of, the other team made a critical mistake sort of way. And I think it'll say a lot about what this team's mentality is, even just their first game and how they come out after picking up a loss that I know kind of left a really sour taste in their mouth. And so that, in combination with some much needed physical rest, I think Dawn is probably pleased with where the team is at heading into Saturday.
Want to invite all of our Tolos to go to greenvilleonline.com, click on the sports page, and read Lulu's latest article just put up a couple of hours ago, Lulu. First of all, this photo that was used of Hudson Jacobs' desk on Twitter, it stresses me out because there are cords and cables everywhere. Gosh, I would have to take that thing apart and redo it. But tell us about Hudson. Give us a little deep dive on this article that you just released.
Yeah, well, Hudson is sort of always in the background, and it's funny because there's this video of him that went viral during the SEC tournament when he successfully told Dawn to appeal a call. And I was like, oh my gosh, no one know about him yet, because I was already in the process of writing. But, that always enhances your stories when something happens like that. But he's basically does all things video. He's been with Dawn since 2011. I'm not saying all of Dawn Staley's success is single-handedly because of him, but there's a direct draw to the fact that, she made her first NCAA tournament and hasn't missed one since hiring him to her staff, and he does a lot behind the scenes. And I was just hoping to give, fans and people a bit more insight into people who aren't necessarily sitting next to Dawn, but almost act like an assistant coach in some ways.
Well, Lulu, if you write it, it becomes true, and then he gets to use that to get more money out of South Carolina. So maybe you should write that all of Dawn's success is because of Hudson.
People can read between the lines. They can look at the stats that I write, and do whatever they want with that information.
Lulu, you mentioned going back to my last question that maybe this year Dawn Staley and company are excited about having a little bit longer of a break. What are your thoughts, the latest on this team injury wise, and maybe how they have healed up a little bit over this break?
Yeah, I look at someone like Agat McKeer, who's sort of been in and out of injuries, and she's such a vital piece, especially on defense. And I think that she seemed a little bit, the 3 games in 3 days in the SEC tournament is really hard. And so I think of someone like her who didn't seem injured at all on Sunday when we saw them at the selection show, like that rest was probably really big. Adele Tack, seemingly, I don't anticipate her playing honestly anytime soon, and I do not know that for sure. I'm just judging on the fact that she's still in a walking boot. And Dawn was pretty, she was able to rule out her from the SEC tournament pretty quickly, and so it would be great. We'll talk to Dawn. Friday. Obviously, get some injury news there, but as of now, to not get any fans' hopes up, I would just kind of go under the assumption like Adele was still in a walking boot on Sunday, so they can decide how to feel and how to react based on a Saturday tip-off.
Lulu, to walk us through what you see out of Regional 4 that South Carolina is in. They're the 1 seed there. Iowa is in this region, TCU, Oklahoma, Michigan State. What is your pathway? What is your bracket showing right now for this region?
Yeah, well, I think a big thing will come down to Iowa and TCU and sort of who makes it out of that game, because they're both really talented teams that bring a lot of different things to the floor. And I think South Carolina will obviously, it's very nice that they have a potential matchup with Oklahoma, because I think a lot of fans since January 22nd with that brutal overtime loss have been kind of wanting a rematch. And I think South Carolina, they can say all they want that it was like they were a shell of themselves. It was them and not Oklahoma. But this is a chance to back it up if they're both given that chance in the Sweet 16. And so I think South Carolina in some ways lucked out because that's a mental edge that's, difficult if you're Oklahoma playing against a team that's really angry that they beat them. So that interests me. But if it's an Iowa, South Carolina Elite Eight, I think that'll be fun because this is a different Iowa team than obviously the one that they faced in 23 and 24. But a good Iowa team and some key players. And then obviously anytime Olivia Miles plays, it's, with TCU and this new system, it's going to be a good game. So I think there's a lot of very different opponents for South Carolina than the SEC has offered. And I'm curious to see how they adapt, especially in the short window.
When does that gap close, though, Lulu? Like we were looking at the men's bracket earlier, and a team like Duke that has Siena and maybe a TCU or Ohio State in the first couple of rounds, right? They can probably get by even with a couple of injuries like they're dealing with. But then the rubber meets the road in the Sweet 16, Elite 8, when they start to play the Kansases and the Floridas of the world, right? When does the rubber meet the road? And I guess what I'm asking is how far is the gap with a team like South Carolina? When does that play really start to change over from, hey, we're no longer getting by? No disrespect to some of these teams in the tournament, but I think we've seen in past years South Carolina, have their way sometimes early in the tournament. When is that for you when the rubber does meet the road?
Are you asking in general across all teams or kind of what part of the bracket for South Carolina?
Yeah, well, I guess
it sort of starts.
Yeah, I guess what I'm asking is, talking about like the rubber meeting the road when this South Carolina team starts to look at these matchups, and then this is not coach speak, but when they really have to get serious about their opponents, right? And I know a coach would never say that. We're always serious about our opponents, but I guess when I ask about the gap, like I just think there's a big gap in women's basketball between the best of the best and everybody else. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. And I think that goes into the larger sort of conversation people have is like, why are there less upsets in March Madness on the women's side than the men's? And I think that with South Carolina, like you said, Dawn will never admit it. But I mean, even a team like Southern Cal, that's a team that's, well coached and they've had some injuries. They're missing some pieces. They have a really great freshman, but they sort of just haven't gelled together. And that's a team that could very much come out and perform really well against Clemson, even though they're technically the 9 seed to Clemson's being 8. I think overall, every team, Dawn often says playing South Carolina opponents treat it like their Super Bowl. And she doesn't mean it in a disrespectful way, but it's honest. Like the first quarter for South Carolina is likely going to be the toughest because teams are trying so hard to get out to a good start because it is so difficult to come back against a defense like South Carolina's. So I think in March Madness specifically, and what they saw even with an Indiana last year and a Maryland and a Duke, like I think the gap will be earlier and earlier because I think the talent level across women's basketball with NIL, I think it's spreading.
Lulu, was it a smart strategy for Dawn Staley to absolutely hammer Tessa Johnson at Papa Shot? Because I'm watching this video that you posted up a couple of days ago, and Dawn is a machine. Like she doesn't miss, and it's so smooth, it's so fast. Tessa Johnson, put up a lot of good shots there, but Dawn looks like she beat her by a lot. So shattering your point guard's confidence there. Good move, bad move. What do you think?
Yeah, it's funny. This sounds so harsh, but I'm in those situations, like I'm of the belief that like you don't just let a kid win. And so random kids were playing against Dawn. And then Dawn started yelling, I want Tessa, I want Tessa. And I think that overall, probably, if anything, it motivated Tessa. I don't think it stripped away any confidence, but it was definitely funny to watch.
Lulu, you're the absolute best. As always, we appreciate you, and best of luck covering the tournament as you do a great job anytime during the regular season as well, but especially during tournament time where even the journalists have to up their game, right?
Yes, exactly. Sure thing. Thanks for having me. Have a great rest of your week.
You too. Lulu Kesson of the Greenville News. And I guess, Diesel, that's where I am with South Carolina. Like, not saying these first few games don't matter, but like even though USC is a good team, it's not the same USC team from a few years ago,
right,
when they had one of the best players in the country. I just think the gap's big, and I think you'll see that they'll make light work of the first one or two opponents, and then I think the rubber will start to meet the road. Maybe Sweet 16.
See, I think it helps them lock in a little bit earlier. I mean, yeah, they get through that the 1-16 matchup, and then boom, you're either confronted with an in-state matchup that means a lot to a lot of people.
It'd be fun, wouldn't it?
Or you get the old which one is the real USC battle. And I think it helps them lock in early. And the fact that they got beat by Texas, the way they got beat by Texas in the SEC tournament, I think they're going to come out angry. And I think they're going to blow some teams out for a while, for a couple of games.
Yeah, I could see that as well. And again, no disrespect to USC or Clemson. Again, that's why I asked Lulu that question about Sean Poppy and the Clemson program, talking about the gap, Diesel. The gap, Sean Poppy's done a great job, but there's still a big gap. And I think they're going to continue to. I think Clemson will continue to close that gap. I really do. But it should be fun. A local flavor. The state of South Carolina, we've got to really just kind of sit back and be thankful, a little bit grateful this weekend, Diesel. We've been given some incredible sporting events. Think about it. Mm-hmm. We might. Do you realize, Diesel, that we could argue that we have the best slate of basketball in the entire country? The state of South Carolina. We've got Duke, North Carolina, TCU, who's North Carolina playing? I forgot. VCU, thank you. Ohio State, one of the biggest brands in sports, by the way. And then the women's side. I'm just saying, like, we have really got it good this weekend in South Carolina.
I just hope that as those Ohio State fans come down here to visit their relatives who already moved here 5 years ago, that they don't fall in love with it and they go back to Ohio.
You know, you joke about that, but that's like true.
It's true. So many people from Ohio moved down here.
It really is. It's time for us to look at our daily wires. What else is happening in the sports world? I know a lot of you Tolos have already texted about Pulmonary. We'll get to that a little bit later in the show as well. But our daily wires next.
This is Wire to Wire with Diesel and Cole Bryson on the Fan Upstate.
A lot going on in the sports world, Diesel. We have a segment where we hit on those topics, Daily Wires. And it's not good when we start out with Viva Venezuela. Well, it is for Venezuela. And by the way, it was really cool to see Ronnie celebrating the emotion, all of that last night, Diesel. They topped Team USA 3-2 last night in the World Baseball Classic. And speaking of Ronnie, led off with a hit. Game's first pitch, 1 of 3 last night with a walk. So not a bad night.
Yeah, seeing the ball well.
USA made it interesting when Bryce Harper tied the game, Diesel, but just not enough in the night, thanks to Garrett Whitlock. Thanks a lot. Play in action. How about this? Texas, what a game. I stayed up and watched it, and it was worth every penny. I mean, every second that I stayed up last night, Diesel. What a game that was between Texas and NC State. Talking about clutch buzzer beaters, game-tying, incredible basketball game. Texas defeated NC State 68-66, and Howard defeated UMBC 86-83. Good game, but I don't know how many people were interested in that game. I mean, does Howard or UMBC in a play-in move the meter?
Do you remember what UMBC stands for?
University of Maryland? No.
Yeah.
Maryland, is that right?
Yeah.
University of Maryland. Not nothing to do with Baltimore?
It's Baltimore. What does the C stand for?
University of Maryland, Baltimore. Catholic.
County, yeah.
That's dumb.
Just good thing is I thought you were going to say University of Maryland, Boston College.
Baltimore College.
Baltimore College.
I should have said that. That'd been an easy answer there. NC State 18-6 on February 9th. They finished the season 2-8 down the stretch. Will Wade's first season. A little turbulence.
Tough. Down the stretch.
Clemson's R.J. Godfrey was named NABC Southeast Region second team all district. My God, I mean, we need a longer named award here.
It's like a white girl Starbucks.
And the bad part was the NABC is just the letters. I don't even know what it stands for.
I think it's National Association of Basketball Coaches Southeast Region second team all district.
That's dumb. That is so dumb. Anyways, the NABC Diesel unveiled new district alignments this season that the group multiple state together rather than by conference. He joins Vin Allen Lubin and Darian Williams from NC State, Rob Martin from High Point, and Joshua Beadle from Coastal Carolina on the second team list. John Shire was named, by the way, of Duke, was named the Southeast Region Coach of the Year. I like that. I like that a lot. I think he could probably be in the
national coach.
I was going to say maybe so.
Sure.
We'll dive back into this a little bit more in depth a little bit later in the show, maybe in the 5 o'clock hour. But last night, South Carolina, lost to Charlotte in Founders Park. And I know some of you Tolos have already texted the show asking when we're going to get to it. We will eventually. Bad night, 11-8 final score. Gamecocks committed 5 errors, and Riley Goodman took the L.
Unlikely to be successful with 5 errors.
That is true, yes. Clemson's Nate Savoy hit 2 home runs, and Dylan Harrison, Noah Samel, and Hayden Simerson combined to allow only 6 hits, and number 14 Clemson's 3-1 victory over College at Charleston last night. So a big win for the Tigers. The Hornets, whoa, Diesel, they won. They beat the Heat.
Yeah,
they beat Bam Adebayo. No way.
Not easy to beat the Heat.
Wow. The Hornets continue in their winning ways. A big win and not really close last night. 136-106. They're now 1 game above 500. LaMelo Ball just went off. 30 points, 11 of 22, 13 assists. Kobe White, look at that trade paying dividends. 24 points off the bench. Con Knipple, 22. Diesel, this team, this might be a good basketball team.
Yeah. Had they not started so poorly, Cole, this would be, a team that's contending in the East.
My gosh, this is crazy. By the way, speaking of the East, if you look at the standings, they are 10th. But they're only, it's a logjam. It's going to be a logjam for the rest of the season. They're only 2 games back from 9th, 76ers. Good basketball team. The Hawks in 8th, Heat in 7. So That was a big win last night. And these games down the stretch, like you said, Diesel, the bad start did put them behind the 8 ball a little bit, trying to make the play-in. Who would have thought the Hornets would be in position to make the playoffs this year? Not many people, right? Let's see. Charlotte's off tonight, by the way, hosting the Magic tomorrow at 7 on NBA TV. Not Magic City, but Magic. I know a lot of people get that confused nowadays.
They did do that performance. They did do that celebration in Atlanta yesterday, I think. They still had T.I. They still had the lemon pepper chicken wings. They just didn't have any of Magic City's finest.
Oh, my gosh. The WNBA's prolonged labor battle seems to be over. The league and the Women's Player Association, Diesel, reached a verbal agreement to increase each team's salary cap from $1.5 to $7 million. That's a big jump in 2026. How about that?
5x salary.
Wow.
That's huge. It raises the minimum salary in the league to like $300 and something thousand.
It does. Andy Dalton. Earlier today, it was one of our Tolos, Jeff R., who broke the news to us, has been traded to the Philadelphia Eagles. How about that? Also, Panthers, since they're in on the action, they are signing former Packers and Eagles running back A.J. Dillon to a 1-year deal. That's awesome. Good to see that. NASCAR truck driver Daniel Dye was suspended yesterday. Have you ever heard of Daniel Dye, Diesel?
Not once.
No, I haven't either. He was suspended for some mocking when he was mocking IndyCar driver David Mulakis' voice, and it was to do with sexuality, bad social media video, very careless, bad luck for Daniel. We don't know who Daniel is, but
he needs to do some sensitivity training.
That's right. Sounds like something Odyssey does. Louisville will be without star freshman Michael Brown for the opening weekend. Just a bad break for Louisville. You're trying to win the first ever tournament game under their new second-year coach. And Pat Kelsey, Diesel, a big loss for the Cards. Tolos, you can text bracket to 844-FAN-PHONE to get a link to join the upset bracket chat. No, what am I doing? I'm combining brackets and upset picks. I said the upset bracket. What is that?
It's UPS. It's the same first 3 letters, Upstate and Upset.
What am I doing? Text bracket to 844-326-3663 if you want in right now. Let's see how many we have. Here we go. Ready? 3, 2, 1. 117. Let's get to 150 before the end of the show. Submit your brackets. You've got to do it by tomorrow at 12:15. Miami Dolphins stonewalled teams calling to inquire about Devon Achane. Is that how you pronounce it?
He's A-Chain. So A-Chain.
It looks like acne, doesn't it?
So A-Chain and ETN are essentially pronounced the same.
Okay. He had the 5th highest production, by the way, last season. Indiana football coach Kurt Signetti been named honorary pace car driver for the 110th Indy 500 on Sunday, May 24th, and those are your daily wires.
He's going to get to drive a speedy Corvette.
That's pretty cool, right?
Yeah,
that's
very
pretty
cool. Very cool. Congratulations to Kurt for that honor. When we come back, Cole, is this football legend being obtuse? Is he being difficult? Pig-headed? We'll talk about it next. we are living in fascinating times when it comes to college football, right? I mean, we got guys out there making sometimes more money in college football than they would be making on their rookie contracts in the NFL. So they're sticking around longer, and players, I guess, feel like they can demand a lot more of their schools that are recruiting them or have them on the roster, which is why it's fascinating to me, Cole, that Southern Cal, that bastion of athletic and academic integrity that the University of Southern Cal is. I promise you I'm genuinely not making fun of them except for the OJ thing. But they are attempting, they have asked multiple times if Heisman Trophy winner, national championship winner, Matt Leinart would unretire his retired jersey number so that some snot-nosed 5-star recruit can have it. And he is saying, no, I'm not doing that.
And it's up to him?
Yeah.
100%?
They need his permission to unretire the number. I mean, it's like a contract. What good's a contract if you could just say, bag the contract. We're just going to give somebody number 11.
Matt Leinart, one of the best players to come through USC.
Yep.
Yeah. Thus far, you have not presented me with anything. I just heard about this for the first time.
Right.
Thus far, you have not presented me with anything to sway me in the direction of the 5-star recruit that's making $2 million a year and living in Beverly Hills. But no, I'm on Matt Leinart's side here.
So you got USC saying things like this to Matt.
How can you be so obtuse?
How can you be so obtuse? Mm-hmm. Matthew Bubala, why are you being this way, man? Like, we really need to get this 5-star. And as far as I can tell, Cole, no one has commented on who the 5-star recruit is, but he's saying, over my dead body, you're going to take my number. Now, he said on the Throwbacks podcast that they had asked him multiple times, and he said, quote, "And do you want to know what I told those guys straight up? Absolutely bleeping not. I am never going to unretire my jersey for some random dude who, by the way, now could wear number 11 and transfer after a year."
Yeah, I think what it shows is in this new era that we're in, Diesel, schools like USC and maybe previous administrations or somebody else did, but schools no longer care about those that built the schools because, like all the greats that came before, like used to, you saw that sometimes it took the Taj Boyds of the world to get to the Deshaun Watsons of the world. Not anymore. It doesn't. It just takes cutting a paycheck. Ask Ohio State from last year. Ask Indiana from this year. And now in this new era, we're seeing all of those great things that we used to love and hold on to and cherish diminish because it's no longer about the former past players that built this thing into something great. It's all about the paycheck.
So Southern Cal, by the way, has officially retired 8 numbers. They have retired number 3 for Carson Palmer, number 5 for Reggie Bush, 11 for Matt Leinart, 12 for Charles White, 13 for Caleb Williams, 20 for Mike Garrett, 32 for O.J. Simpson. Maybe they should change it to 2 for O.J. Simpson.
Yeah.
And number 33 for Marcus Allen. 8 players have been retired. Eight players' jerseys have been retired. Now, here's the problem. I mean, there is a legitimate logistical issue here when you only have 99 numbers available to you. And if you are at a school that loves to retire numbers of great players, well, gosh, you're really limiting yourself.
Yeah.
This is almost 10% of the numbers that would be available. They are taking them away. So that is a problem. So just wonder, for a legitimate issue like that, is Matt maybe hampering or holding USC back? Could you make an argument, as thin and far-reaching as it might be? Well, could you make an argument that Matt Leinart is actually being the jerk here? Because if that's the difference, and I get it that it would be silly that that's the difference between a kid choosing a school and not choosing a school. If that's the difference, is Matt hurting USC?
No, because there are other jersey numbers out there. Why is a jersey number? Why what is this? Why is a jersey number even important enough to get up? That's dumb. And like I would say if I was Matt, hey, here's what I tell USC. Okay, here's what I'll do. I'll unretire my jersey if you go to the other 7 and they also all agree to unretire their jersey. If they all agree to unretire theirs, I'll unretire mine. That wouldn't, well.
That's not going to happen.
Can't ask
OJ. Not now.
Bad idea. Sorry. Maybe that was sorry.
So and here's the thing. Matt won a national title at USC. He lost just 2 games in his entire career as a starter there. One was against Vince Young in Texas in what some people consider like the greatest college football game ever played.
Yeah.
That would have been back-to-back national championships for Matt Leinart. He led the Pac-10 in passing touchdowns in his first 2 seasons. He led the conference in passing yards in his 3rd and final season. He was named the 2004 Heisman Trophy winner. He was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame. And again, you got some snot-nosed kid coming in. And look, I mean, these kids are demanding all kinds of things, right? They're demanding millions of dollars before they've ever played a down of football for the school. Why not? If you're some kid who thinks he's, hot bleep, why not say, well, I'm not coming there if you won't give me Matt Leinart's number.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
So here's now Matt did say that he would unretire the number if one of his sons was on the team and wanted to wear number 11. He said that was the only reason that he would change that number. Now, one of his kids I think he's at TCU. I'm not 100% positive about that, but one of his kids does play college football, but not for USC. He's got 2 other sons that could potentially play for USC in the future here, Cole. But I would make this kid a deal. Whoever this kid is, I'd make him a deal. And we talk about how we wish that these guys would sign up for multi-year contracts. We wish they would stick around. I would say, here's the deal. I will unretire my jersey for you if you come to USC, win a national championship, or win the Heisman first.
Yeah.
If you can accomplish something that I accomplished at USC, I will give you my jersey number in return for you staying for the remainder of your college career. However long that may be. You go off to the league after your junior year, that's fine. But I'll give you number 11 if you can win a national championship or win a Heisman Trophy here.
And I don't know that would happen. I don't know that it would be tough, right?
A Heisman, maybe a Natty. That's not happening at USC.
Let's go to the phone lines, 844-FAN-PHONE. Phone lines are open, by the way, Tolos. Get in 844-326-3663. Tom in Somerville. What's up, Tom?
Hey, guys. I know.
What's wrong? Why do you sound so sad?
Well, I guess part of the problem is, so it's 2 parts, and I'll get to the second one in just a second. So I have been extremely frustrated today with NC State and Texas last night. So I had a 6-leg parlay last night. UNC Wilmington came back from 15 down on the road to beat Yale in the NIT. Oklahoma State came back from 15 down also in the second half to win their game in the NIT. And UMBC Howard, great basketball game, the overhit. So all I needed after these miracle comebacks was for the Texas game last night to go over 144.5. I even had Texas winning the game. But what do you know? And when they played last time, there was 197 combined points.
Well, Tom, I think the moral of the story is don't try 6-leg parlays. That's why those casinos keep getting built, Tom, is because of people like you.
I guess. But, these 2 teams last night, they just, in the second half, they just refused to put the ball in the basket. And, you got the one kid from NC State, trying these robotic layups, and it just did not make any sense. But, that's here nor there. get to the point, guys.
Before we get you there, Tom.
I'm blue in the face.
Before we get you there, Tom, have you ever considered that maybe you should call 1-800-GAMBLER?
No, not at all. Because, you know, I work hard. I make a good living.
Okay.
And, you know, I don't go out and spend a bunch of money on a bunch of stupid stuff that's worthless. And if I can spend $5 to make $200, I'm going to do that a lot more than going out to dinner every night and going to the bar every night. I don't do that. So, you know, if spending $5 on the first night of the tournament is a chance to make 200, I'm going to do it.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
But the reason that I'm just so daggum depressed right now is it goes back to Gamecock Athletics. Who would have ever thought that that would be the reason I'm upset? But here we are. Okay. Now, I know y'all talked about it and I brought it up before. There might have been 25 people at the baseball game last night. I was not one of them. But that was, I mean, you have got to just end this right now. You know, whoever you listen to, whatever you read, there's not one positive thing coming out about Gamecock baseball right now. You know, it'd be one thing if you got, you know, a new coach in play, even a second-year coach like we have, and he's energetic, he's engaging with people, and he's trying to build a program. We don't have that. We have a guy who's 85 years old who has no idea how to manage a baseball team in this current environment that we are in. And it was a risky move when we hired him, and I thought it was going to work, and it doesn't work. There's nothing that can change the fact this year. Like, this baseball team, I said last week they might win 9 games in conference. This baseball team might win 4 conference games, and if they do that, it'll be a miracle.
You know, the question, though, Tom, I think everybody at this point can agree that Paul Nair is not going to come back next year unless just something drastic comes down. The question, though, is, do they fire him mid-season? That's the question.
No, because that makes too much sense. And nothing this university has done in the past 15 years makes any sense. So they're not going to fire him mid-season. They're going to let him ride it out, and they'll make the change as soon as before they get on the plane in Birmingham to come back home in the SEC tournament, if they even make the SEC tournament, which they probably won't, but he will be fired the moment the last out of the season is called. He will be let go, or they may even let him, quote unquote, retire. But within 5 minutes of that last out, they better be making an announcement that they have made a change in leadership. Because if they let this drag on, guys, I kid you not, I will be in Columbia, South Carolina, and I will have a sign that says, today is the start of a revolt, a riot, whatever you want to do, because that man not be welcome back anymore once this season's over.
Tom, do you already own a pitchfork, or would you have to go to Lowe's and buy one?
You know, I'm more of a Home Depot man myself, so I'd probably go to Home Depot.
Okay.
Wow.
Have you considered thinking positively?
Yeah.
What is there to be positive about?
Fake it till you make it, I guess. I mean, around here, positive thinking can change a lot of things.
Well, you know, I'll try to be positive when there's something to be positive about. How about that?
Yeah, I can't push back on you, Tom. I just can't push back.
I'm positive that it can't get any worse.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, yeah, if that's the takeaway to be positive.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the life. That's the life of a Gamecock fan. We can say that our whole life, and no matter the circumstance, that statement will always be true.
Yeah, I agree with you, and you're right. There is nothing. I mean nothing to be positive about now.
Are there markets for gambling on college baseball? Investing in college baseball?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, there you go. Maybe that's how you use the absolute suckitude of South Carolina baseball to make a few bucks off of it.
Well, the problem is, to win any money on them, you got to bet a lot of money because the odds are not good.
That's true. Tom, you're the man. Thanks for the call as always.
Go Gamecocks.
But he ends the call with Go Gamecocks, right?
Yeah. Always got to end it on a positive note.
I mean, Tom's not wrong. And, the thing about it is, like, he jokes about it there. Like you said, there's absolutely nothing. And we joked about it last year. We saw it won 6 conference games, Diesel, or whatever it was. You can't be any worse. And to Tom's point, you might feel like this team might win fewer games this year than they did last year, which is mind-boggling.
There is no reason to give up 11 runs to Charlotte. You put up 8 runs, you should be winning just about every single midweek game you play.
I texted you last night. I wasn't really following along with the Gamecocks baseball. I was really excited about the World Baseball Classic, and I checked it a few times, and I said, oh no, oh boy, they're losing, and they didn't come back.
Well,
you're right. 11 runs is bad.
It's extra, insult to injury when you felt we're off to a good start here. Craddock hit a 3-run homer. KJ Scobie, had that double. I think it was an RBI double. Talmadge LeCroy, got a hit, gave him some extra run support there, but then it just falls apart in the back half. 5 errors on the game for the Gamecocks.
It was really bad. Back to the phone lines, 844-326-3663. Mark wants to weigh in on Gamecock baseball. What's up, Mark?
Hey, what's happening?
You, man.
Hey, Tom sounded like he needs to take
passenger seat belt.
Passenger seat belt.
Oh, Mark, we're gonna record that, and every time you call in, you're gonna hear fasten your seatbelt.
That's right. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. You're good.
Hey,
I love that.
Tom needs to take a blood pressure pill. I was hoping you would tell him what I text you privately, but I think South Carolina needs to go ahead and just cut him loose because you can't get a coach mid-season right now and just give it to Monty and let it ride out, see what happens, and then. But I mean, I hate to say this, but the only thing the Gamecocks got going is the ladies basketball team. I mean, look at the men's basketball. You know what I'm saying? I don't really follow volleyball, but and other sports other than that. But,
how's the equestrian team this year?
That's right.
I don't know.
Well, I agree with you. And Mark, I don't know what the precedent is for firing coaches at baseball mid-season. I don't know that there is a precedent. You don't see it a lot, especially this early. But I just don't know that you're going to get any better. I think the best move is just to go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off. Sometimes teams play better when they have an interim or there's some kind of I don't know. Wear different cleats, wear different underwear. I don't know what to say at this point.
What's his buyout? Do you know?
It's 4, I believe.
4.5.
4.5, something like that.
What is it after the season?
I don't think there's a huge difference. I mean, maybe $1 million. I don't think it's a big difference.
That sounds about right. I think it drops by $1 million a year over the course of his contract.
Yeah, I saw them on TV last night, and Tom was right. It didn't look like there was 25 people there.
No, there wasn't. It was bad. Mark, thanks for the phone call, man.
See you, buddy.
It's really, really bad. And I know it's kind of just like everybody's just more in shock than they are anything because South Carolina baseball used to be the best sport.
You have to make this move for the fan base. At this point, if you fire him, you get a little bit of proof that you're willing to do something, that you're willing to try something. I mean, you got to hire an additional coach maybe to step in and fill Monty's role or elevate somebody to get somebody at the bottom of the coaching staff. Who knows? But, you can't have an AD whose nickname is Do Nothing Donati.
Do Nothing Donati is lighting up the phone lines. TA up next. What's up, TA?
Hey, guys, what's up? Mark was a great guy. I know him, love him, very intelligent about baseball. I hate his car was ding, ding, ding. But anyway, I love you, Mark, if you're still listening. But back to the coaching situation. And Tom, don't need a blood pressure pill. Tom needs a Valium, a Xanax, or a good old left-handed cigarette. I mean, he needs some serious chill pill. And Tom, that's no diss to you, man. Your heart's gonna stop beating if you don't let up.
I bet you Aiden Holloway could spare a little. Yeah.
Right. And we're so far on the outside. That was funny though, by the way. But that we're so far on the outside that all we can do is speculate on what the possible plans can be for this.
But are we though? Are we though, TA? Like, what is there to speculate? I mean,
no. He's gone. But as far as right now, are they gonna make a move right now? No. If he survives to the end of the season, I won't be surprised.
Yeah.
But I do think the door will hit him. Tom did get it right on the way back from the SEC tournament. They'll, when they land or get off a bus, they'll know the future of the Gamecocks won't involve him. But as far as what they can do, if I'm a team captain, I'm getting all the guys. We're grabbing a couple of 12-packs. We're hitting a couple of dorm rooms, or we're off-site, off campus in somebody's apartment, and we're rallying. We can't give up. I mean, I'm not saying these coaching decisions are on the players, but the players at this point in their life are old enough to say, guys, blank this coach.
Yeah.
It's not, what he's doing is not working. Let's just bond together and let's just squeeze all we can out of this year. I think that's the only thing the Gamecocks can do.
It's a good point. It's a good point, TA.
To get a positive possible ending to this. And I'll tell you, when the last thing, when the tournament starts, everybody's 0-0. And last thing, we did close out Rosenblatt and open up a new stadium with a natty and a natty.
Yeah.
Something nobody will ever be able to say. Sorry, I lost my voice.
Do you have any Valium? I mean, it sounds like you need one too.
Well, I was sitting here talking to myself. I do that sometimes.
TA, thanks for the call as always, man.
All right, brother.
That's good stuff, and I agree with him. Like at some point, the team does have to step up, regardless of the coach, because like Palmineri, while he may be the coach, he's not playing. He's not at the plate. He's not on the mound. So no, I agree with TA 100% in that sense that eventually it is a play, just like anything. It is a player's game, and the players are responsible. Now, is Palmineri ultimately responsible for bringing those players in? Sure he is. But my gosh, Diesel, have a little bit of pride. Go out there, and I agree with TA 100%. Christy, I think this is Christy Mann. Yes, Christy Mann on the Joy Law Firm text line gets in. She says, I think a change is coming sooner than the end of the season. If they lose the next 3 weekend series, they will have the worst record in program history. Ooh, that's tough to hear out loud, right? But it's true. It is. It's a dark time. Dark times.
And these players got to be thinking now that we have to perform for recruiting, getting out of here.
Yeah, for us.
If we don't want to be in Columbia next year, we want out of Columbia.
Yeah.
If we suck, if we're terrible, if we keep committing all these errors, if we can't put bat on the ball, if we can't strike players out, we're going to be stuck in Columbia.
Oh, I know. You gotta play for you. You gotta play for, like you said, have a chance now in the portal. You can be somewhere else next year. And hey, by the way, there are players from last year's Gamecock roster that are playing other places and playing well. So it's tough. I don't think they'll fire him midseason. I think they should. I think they should fire him today. I think they should have already fired him. I would have fired him on Sunday. But I'm not Jeremiah. What'd you say? Do nothing to Noddy. I'm not do nothing to Noddy. I'm a little bit more aggressive. So we'll see. Diesel, in the very next segment and in the 6 o'clock segment, we've talked a lot about brackets this week, right? You and I have. And we're going to continue like all day tomorrow and all day Friday, talk about brackets, tournament, what's going on. But in the very next segment, I put you and the Tolos to a very important task. With us being live tomorrow in Spartanburg and Friday at Rigsby's, we have a 12-team single elimination sports bar food bracket. We begin the bracket in the very next segment. We will conclude the bracket at 6 p.m. in Tolos. We need you. in on the conversation. Which sports bar food will cut down the nets? We'll get into it next.
Diesel on the Fan Upstate.
Well, Diesel, we've talked a lot about basketball this week, as you can imagine, with the tournament beginning tomorrow and Friday. You and I will be at Rigsby's Classic Rock Cafe tomorrow, Rigsby's Smoked Burgers Friday in Spartanburg, and Tolo's. We want you to join us from 3 to 7. I cannot wait for tomorrow and Friday, Diesel. But in this segment and in the 6 o'clock segment, we really talk about what matters to you and I, at least, right? Sports bar food. You getting hungry yet?
Delicious.
It's 5:30, by the way.
So much time talking about food today, it's unfair.
All right, so this is the good stuff. We have a 12-team single elimination bracket. For those watching the stream, you can see my great handwriting. That is just fantastic, right? I have allowed Rob Jones from
who?
Rob Jones of Cross the Hall, 98.9 WORD. He picked the top 4 seeds that got a bye.
Okay.
So if you or any Tolos have complaints with the seeding and the buys, see Rob Jones across the hall over at 98.9. So
he also fudges numbers on 40-yard dash. So you got to watch out for that guy.
There's no doubt. Diesel, I am going to reveal to you the 4 buys, and I want you to react good or bad. Thoughts on the 4 buys in the 12-team single elimination sports bar food bracket challenge. And Tolos, we need you to help us at 844-326-3663 on the Joy Law Firm text line. 4 buys, the number 1 overall seed. You want to take a whack at it?
I'm going to guess it's chicken wings.
You would be correct.
Hey.
Diesel, you and Rob, it's step for step there.
Yeah.
The other 3, a cheeseburger,
okay.
a good cheese, a Rigsby smoked burger, right? Loaded fries. It can be chili cheese fries. It can be loaded to however you like, right?
Okay.
I think everybody likes loaded fries.
Oh, yeah.
And the other buy is flatbread. So
like
flatbread,
like a
flatbread pizza.
Okay.
A lot of sports bars. I don't know about Rigsby's. We'll find out tomorrow if they have the flatbread or not. But those are the buys.
Well, bars love doing it because making a flatbread pizza is cheap. You don't actually have to make the dough.
I love them.
Yeah,
we had some good a couple of years ago when we went to the draft. You remember that flatbread pizza? I don't know. This shows how fat I am. You know what I was talking about before I even say it.
Oh, yeah.
The flatbread at Dave & Buster's.
I had that flatbread many times.
It's so good. It's so
many
good.
times.
So the 4 buys, wings, burger. Oh, by the way, very important. These are traditional wings that got the buy.
Not nuggets.
Correct. Wings, burger, loaded fries, flatbread. Those are the 4 buys. Now, you look at the things that didn't get the buys. They're good, but are they as good as the buys, Diesel? Well, obviously, we'll pick this up and finish in the 6 o'clock segment. For those tuning in later in the show, we'll pick this up and continue there because I think the Tolos will want to have a say in this at 844-326-3663. Let's see. I think last year you and I allowed the Tolos. We counted the votes, right, in a couple of different challenges. Let's see how many Tolos side with you and I on this. Let's start on the very far left of the bracket.
Okay.
All right. This is the printer is not the best quality ink, so I can't see the numbers. It's a 9 versus a 8, I think. Would that be right? Probably not because it's a 12-team bracket.
Playoff?
No, I don't think so. Maybe a 3.
9-3.
There you go. It looked like an 8. The ink was bleeding, I guess. 9-3. Thank you, Diesel.
There's another thing we got to ask engineering about.
Sorry. The 9 is onion rings.
Okay.
The 3 is loaded nachos.
Ooh,
so the first matchup.
A lot of carbs.
Oh, in this bracket, you mean? This is
it's all carbs.
This is the carb bracket. So Tolos at 844-326-3663. 9 versus a 3. 9 onion rings, 3 loaded nachos. Go at 844-FAN phone. Again, 844-326-3663. Let's see who you side with. Are you an onion ring kind of guy, Diesel?
Sometimes. Like my wife and I will go out and she'll get onion rings because she loves them. I'll get French fries and then we do a little swap.
So you can have both.
Yeah, we can have a little bit of both. Now, she always wants more of my fries than I want of her onion rings, which works because she likes the onion rings. I like the fries better. Onion rings are so hit or miss. Like they got to be hand breaded.
Oh yeah.
Hand breaded. Because if they're the if they're the bagged frozen onion rings where the coating is too uniform, you could just tell. You could just look at it and say, that's a frozen onion ring. I don't like that.
This is weird. I 100% agree with you. Like, I 100,000% agree with you. I don't mind onion rings. Diesel, if you and I only had, I'll eat them. So I agree with you. I like them. They're not up there for me. Loaded nachos is the 3. Onion rings is the 9. Who do you go with?
Oh, loaded nachos in a 30-point blowout.
Blowout.
Loaded nachos. I mean, that could be a lot of different things, right? You could put steak on there. You could put chicken on there, guacamole, corn, pico de gallo, whatever you want to put on your nachos. Brisket on your nachos.
Oh, man, now you are getting me hungry. That sounds good, doesn't it? Yeah, I think that's where it gets the unfair advantage over onion rings.
They might go win the whole thing.
You could loaded nachos
seed? As a 3 seed.
3 seed, yeah. Okay. Texters 844-326-3663. It is the first matchup of the Sports Bar Food Bracket Challenge. 844-FANFONE, FANFONE. First round, loaded nachos or onion rings. We have got to get to the text line.
And see, look at Dan already dissenting. Bing bong, dissenting on the text line.
What'd he say?
He says, sub out flatbread. Flatbread is lame. What are you talking? First of all, Dan, you don't get to sub out.
Dude, flatbread.
The bracket is set.
Flatbread pizza is incredible.
The bracket is set.
And let me make sure I was clear. When I say flatbread, I mean flatbread pizza. So if I wasn't clear on that, I do apologize. Let me ask you, is there another like if you were to just say flatbread, is that?
I mean, I guess you could top it with a lot of different things. You could top it with like a chicken and cheese with like a hot honey or something like that.
So I apologize.
You could.
Flatbread pizza. That is if there's just a normal flatbread out there. I didn't mean just like the Subway flatbread. Flatbread pizza, usually very elite, especially with some good toppings, right? We all are in agreement on the text line, the stream, you and I have not seen any votes yet for onion rings. So with that being said, Diesel, onion rings have been eliminated. Just like that, off the bat, onion rings are out in the Sports Bar Food Challenge. So that means loaded nachos will go. This is not good. Loaded nachos will go on to play the overall 1 seed in wings. That is going to be tough. We'll get there in a second. But that's going to be tough. All right, down we go to the bottom portion of the bracket. Flatbread's getting the bye. Flatbread pizza. This is a 5 versus a 12. The 5 is fried pickles. The 12 is street tacos. A lot of these sports bars have good little small tacos.
Yeah.
They're thin, right? They're just little small street tacos.
Yeah. The best is when they put a second shell on there so that inevitably when they get messy and things fall out, you got a second shell. You just stuff the fallens, stuff those in the second shell. Yeah. Boom. Second taco.
I like that. That's really smart. Fried pickles is the 5. Street tacos is the 12. 844-326-3663. Who do you side with? Who wins the 5 versus the 12? Are you a pickle guy?
I like fried pickles. They're good, but you can get fried pickles anywhere. And truthfully, I don't know that I've ever found someplace that has bad fried pickles.
It's all the same.
It's all the same. Yeah. Everywhere you go.
Now, the pickles can be cut thin, what are they called when they're, how a pickle comes
medallions?
On a burger?
Yeah.
Almost flat.
But I've never seen somebody fry a skewer.
I think I have one time.
You can't fry a whole pickle.
No.
That's ludicrous.
No, you can't. You cannot. That would be correct. But I think I have seen the longer pickles deep fried in a few places.
So I watched this video the other day about, food service and how few food service providers there are. There's a reason why fried pickles are basically the same everywhere you go, because there's only 3 or 4 major food service providers in America. So a quarter of the restaurants, 25%, are buying and selling literally the same pickles.
And I guess even if you were to doctor them up homemade with your own batter or whatever, it's still going to taste close to the same.
How much better can batter make it?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I'll eat them. If they're there, I will eat them. I will tell you this. I will not order them. I'm not going to spend money. That's where I am on them.
Right.
If they're there and somebody else has, I'll eat them.
Right.
I don't order them.
So it's fried pickles versus street tacos?
Yeah. And
street tacos.
And this is a big upset, a 12 over a 5.
Yeah.
That's a huge upset, but I'm with you on that.
Fried pickles are like, there's a format in radio called least objectionable programming. It's like, it's what you put on in the office because like everybody's going to find something they like out of it and nobody's really going to hate anything that you play.
Yeah.
That's kind of what fried pickles are for me.
It's like when you go, I was somewhere earlier today and I heard, it's just kind of normal. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, just normal, run of the mill, not bad, not great, appetizer. Text line also sides with the street tacos as well. So Diesel fried pickles have been eliminated from the bracket challenge.
That's the right one. It's the street tacos were a really scrappy, like a St. Mary's 27-win team, and they came in and they're facing a Texas A&M team that might not quite be ready for that smoke.
I love street tacos. I think I'm half Mexican. I could eat Mexican every day. I could eat Mexican food every night. I really could. So before we run to a break, we're going to get back to this at 6 p.m. Diesel. Wings, flatbread pizza, burger, chili cheese fries, or loaded fries were the buys. Already we've had 2 takedowns. Loaded nachos have taken down onion rings, and street tacos have taken down fried pickles. At 6 o'clock, we'll dive into the left side and then get to the right side. We have loaded nachos against wings and street tacos against flatbread pizza. Good luck with that. That's all I'll tell you.
When we come back, Cole, I want to play a little game of sports experience, either or. Next.
I hear the train a-coming.
So I appreciate
sometimes, yes. That was wild. That was Nap Nation.
What does that happen? What I don't know.
asleep.
Is that
Where is
Jim
this
Rome?
audio
Is
coming
Jim
from?
Rome trying to crash our show right now?
Jimmy.
I mean, what are we doing here? So let's pull that down and see what's going on here.
That's weird. That's odd.
I mean, what are we crashing? We can't do that. They can't. Sorry, Diesel. I don't know what happened there. That was really weird.
I don't
wasn't
have
it?
anything on my computer that's playing anything. Odd, Cole. But I do appreciate the voiceover guy before Jim Rome tried to break in there, telling us all about Rigsby's Classic Rock Cafe, because that's where you and I are going to be tomorrow.
Yes.
For the show. We want to see a ton of Tolos. I know we got a couple familiar faces, some of the Tolos we know on a face-to-face basis, but there's a lot of you that we never ever get to see out on location.
That's right.
Tomorrow, again, Rigsby's Classic Rock Cafe in downtown Spartanburg. And then on Friday, Rigsby's Smoked Burgers, and that one is Cole.
It's on North Liberty Street. It's literally I don't even think it's a mile from the. I mean, you know where downtown is. You and I, have set up there before for other events, and it's not even far at all. North Liberty Street. It's right near the old Papa's Breakfast Nook. It's great too. Both of them are great, but I don't know which one we like better. I don't know if we're allowed to say, but I'm excited for both.
I'm going to stuff myself at both.
Yes.
So I'm going to get a full accounting of what these places have to offer, and you Solos should come by and join us as well. And make sure, by the way, make sure that you come up and say hello to us and let us know that we brought you into the store.
Yeah.
And tell the manager, your waitress, the person at the front desk, whoever it might be, tell them you're here because you heard Wire to Wire talking about it. Like, let them know why you're there. That certainly helps us, of course, because we want to make a good impression to Rigsby's as well. Cole, I told you earlier, this is really, really cool. Kurt Signetti won a national championship, and now he is driving the pace car at the Indy 500, which, it's one of those things you have to do something exceptional to be invited to do that.
Yeah.
The question is, for the first sports experience, either or, Cole, I'm going to give you the option to do either one of these things. Which one would you choose? Driving the pace car at the Indy 500. I'll even put the Daytona 500 on the list if you like that one better. Or flipping the coin at a Dallas Cowboys regular season game. I would say playoff game, but they don't make the playoffs.
Oh, not much.
So flip the coin.
It's pretty easy for me.
Yeah.
It would be, I'm going to surprise you. It would be cool to flip the coin of the Cowboys game.
Mm-hmm.
However, I don't feel like you would get any recognition and publicity for that. Like, would anybody really know? People in the stadium might, but oh no, some random guy to flip the coin. Give it up,
I feel like you can make a name for yourself in some way.
Could you
chuck it into the crowd?
Could you?
Or you never get invited back again.
But if you drive the pace car at the Indy 500,
that's true.
I mean, Wire's talking about it. Everybody, ESP, that is a big deal, and it's going to be televised. It's going to be because of that. Now ESPN. College football, they're going to be talking about it. I would go drive the pace car to surprise you there.
That'd be rad.
Wouldn't it be fun?
That'd be rad. Have you ever done?
I'd get in trouble though.
Have you ever done one of the ride along experiences?
Richard Petty.
Which track did you do that?
Charlotte.
Yeah.
You
drove or you were a passenger?
Drove.
Okay.
Yeah, I love it. It's fun. That's what I'm saying though. I'd get in trouble doing the pace car because I'd be like,
what'd they let you get up to when you were driving? Like
140,
130, 140,
something like that.
Yeah.
I want to say feels like I said 140 is what I win. You obviously have somebody beside you.
I did a ride along, but it was a gift, so I didn't get to choose. Right?
You rode or drove?
I rode.
Oh, okay.
And they took us up to like 160 or so, but that was with a professional driver. So
yeah, even when you drive though, they
faster.
Still have to have a guy over in the back, and I think that guy has a little regulator.
So it's like driver's ed all over.
I think
again.
So. I think he does.
Did you take the low line or high line?
I honestly don't remember. I was very nervous. I do remember. I mean,
believe it.
It was fun, and I'd love to do it again. I've never done the BMW driving experience. Have you done that?
Never have. And, Stone Man from The Planet, he talks about it all the time because he does the Guard Your Life thing up at the BMW.
They say it's the one of the coolest things in the world.
Awesome.
Yeah. And you know what? There we go. I know for a fact we have listeners, Scotty and others, that listen. They're Tolos. Diesel and I think Diesel and I should be able to experience the BMW driving experience.
You could, you put me in one of the slow M series cars. A slow one.
Oh, yeah.
Don't put me in the SUV.
No doubt.
Because I want to whip that thing around. Cole, what would be better for you as a fan? Watching your team make the CFP. Now I know you've got some Clemson ties, so this has happened for you, Clemson fans, quite a bit. Making the CFP, looking good in a first round loss, or watching your team make a run to the Sweet 16.
Ooh, I like Sweet 16s.
Yeah, it's not quite like the Final Four or the Elite Eight. It means you won 2 games.
That's tough. Those are three tough ones. One more time, if you don't mind.
So the first one were 2 together.
Oh,
so,
I'm
so
sorry.
you make the CFP, but you don't advance out of the first round.
Okay.
But you don't look bad. You don't embarrass yourself. You look good in the first round. You lose that. Or watching your team make a run at the Sweet 16.
And that's what's tough, because like you do want to make that one's really tough. You want to make the CFP, but
yeah,
I think it does a lot for your school, for money. I think you get a lot of money from it.
So you get what? You get 3 tournament units of money by making it to the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
Because you get a unit for playing in the game. So a round of 64, round of 32, a round of 16.
I'm gonna say making the CFP and losing, even though I don't like that answer. I don't like that answer.
No. To me, it's the opposite, though. I mean, I'm a G5 fan, a mid-major fan, and to me, especially seeing what the college football punditry did to James Madison and Tulane this year.
Yeah.
Like I really at this point, in a weird way, I don't even want to make the CFP, because that's 2 to 3 weeks of pundits just bashing you, saying you don't belong here. You're going to get smoked. You shouldn't be here. You guys suck. You didn't play a hard enough schedule. But if you make the Sweet 16, now you had an elite season and you won a couple of games in the tournament.
I think
everybody's talking good about you.
I think you've talked me into it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there's a lot of financial plus benefits.
Yeah,
from the footballs.
If it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, before NIL and rampant transferring, 1,000%, I would say CFP.
Yeah,
1,000%.
Tolos, we'll continue the show. We think there is a little bit of a glitch on our computers. You may hear the hour 4 of Wire to Wire, or if we can't figure it out with engineering, you might hear network program. I don't know, but anyways, we'll try to be back. I have sent an email to engineering. Whatever happens next, right here on the Fan Upstate.